Just the heart. Man-made plague turns humans into bloodthirsty mutants. A lone survivor, a brilliant scientist, fights his way through these mutants. Can he figure out what's causing the disease and save humanity? All this can only mean one thing. We're watching the Omega Man and I Am Legend on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa.
I'm Reggie Parker.
I'm Dan Farley. What's good? How's everyone doing?
Hey.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
This is Retro vs. Remake.
Retro versus Remake, everybody. Tonight we're doing the Omega Man and I Am Legend. Reggie, what are your first impressions of these movies?
Boy, I'm gonna lead off with who's in this shit.
Okay, we'll do that.
And then we'll come back. We'll get into.
My bad for jumping the gun.
No, you're good. You're good. So let's see. The Omega Man is a 1971 film starring
Charlton Heston from My Cold Dead Hands. This is our part 2 of our Charlton Heston shows. The first being Planet of the Apes. Damn you, you damn dirty mutants.
He had a good run here. It was
Yes.
It was this, the Omega Man, Planet of the Apes, and there was one other one around this time that he like knocked out of the park.
The fucking Ben-Hur?
Might have been her.
Or Spartacus, I meant? No, Ben-Hur? Yeah.
Let's see. Her was 59. 10 Commandments 69.
60. It's not has to be 10 Commandments. 69. Because this is 71.
No, another sci-fi one. Soylent Green.
Soylent Green! What is Soylent Green, Reggie?
It's people.
Spoiler alert! I haven't seen it. God damn it.
Oh, man.
It's over. Soylent Green. This is off to a very sloppy start.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
I blame you for listening.
The Omega Man, which came out in 1971, starring Charlton Heston, Anthony Zerbe, Rosalind Cash, Paul Koslow, Eric Lanaville, Lincoln Kilpatrick, Brian Tochi. We're not going to talk about half of those people.
Yeah, fuck that. They're fucking terrible.
It's directed by Boris Segal, with a screenplay by John Williams.
Father of Stephen.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not.
Let's see, screenplay by John William Corrington and Joyce H. Corrington. I Am Legend, a 2007 film, starring
I Am Legend! Anyway, go ahead.
Starring Will Smith, CGI.
CGI.
A dog. Will Smith, Alice Braga, Charlie Taham, Dash Mihok,
And a computer.
pretty much.
Yeah.
We can just stop there.
Yeah, it's okay. Because we're not going to refer to these actors' names.
Not at all. They're irrelevant to anything that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
This is directed by Francis Lawrence. I don't know any of his work.
He did something. Doesn't matter.
Cool. With a screenplay by Mark Protosevich and Akiva Goldsman.
Ah.
No, man, I think you were asking me.
Yeah, what were your first impressions of these movies?
So, I Am Legend, I saw basically the year it came out. In fact, when I was in college on the wrestling team, my boy Lamar may have streamed I Am Legend for us to watch while it was still in theaters.
Yeah. And his name may or not be Lamar.
Yeah, his name may or not be. And
More like a lamer, am I right?
we watched it on like a laptop. I remember kind of enjoying it, but like I think a lot of the effects were lost to me on my first watch through. So
Were they?
yeah, because I was watching on like a grainy computer
I see what
screen
you're
in
saying,
2007.
but were you?
It was.
No, was it really lost on you? I don't know. The effects in this movie, spoiler alert, guys. I'm going to say this ahead of time. Did not age well. It doesn't. It's like, oh, are you battling cartoons? Because he kind of looked. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's not the first time I've heard someone say that.
Yes, it doesn't look. So what about the Omega Man?
The Omega Man, first time was this podcast. I knew with Charlton Heston involved.
Yeah.
There was some level that I was going to have some fun with this. So,
yeah, okay.
you know, yeah. First impression for Mega Man was this podcast.
Yes.
How about you?
My first impression. First, I saw I Am Legend in the theaters in IMAX.
Wow.
At IMAX theater, it was in this movie. There was a 6-minute trailer for The Dark Knight where it showed the whole bank heist scene.
Yeah.
That's what I remember the most.
Yes.
And by far was my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah.
So I saw it. Whatever. We'll get into how I felt. And the Omega Man was always on WP. For anyone who grew up in the New York area, was always on WPIX 11. And it was out of date then. When I was a kid, it wasn't like I grew up in like the fucking 70s. Like, it was always like, the Sunday matinee movie, The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston. Oh my God. And it was like, oh. And then they would always play it like, it was always Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon or like during a rain delay. It was like that and the Poseidon Adventure were always on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we should also talk about
WPIX.
WPIX, New York. Channel 11, for those of you in the know. And we should also talk about that this movie was also made before the Omega Man in the Vincent Price movie, The Last Man on Earth, which we could do this voice all day.
All day of Vincent
All day.
Price. If I had a robe, I'd be wearing it.
Darkness falls across the land, the funk of 40,000 years.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Yes.
Just to bring it up, because I also watched a majority of The Last Man on Earth.
I did not at
It's
all.
a 1964 film. All three of these adaptations are based off of the novel.
The novel, I Am Legend, by Robert Matheson,
Robert Matheson, and that shit came out.
1954?
I believe you're right.
It's around there. I know it's around there somewhere.
Yep, 1954.
1954.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, literature degree. It's a good thing I'm using it. Anyway, but I also did. You said you dove into the book. I read the book years ago.
Yeah, I'm about I'm a little bit over halfway through the novella. The book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
It's great. The book's great.
I like it. I think that the book gets in a lot of psychological things that are hard to show in film.
Yeah. It does. Except he gets for like an entire year, he does nothing but get fucked up drunk. Like, he just keeps drinking, which is like, yeah, I would too. What else are you doing? Like, you're bored out of your mind. Like, you can only do so much. No one else is there, and he just drank. The only thing that I love, the book, like we were discussing this earlier, is in the book he's not a scientist whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, he is not.
Just some dude.
He's just some dude. He's the equivalent of me and Reggie and I going through this whole fiasco that he goes through, and then saying like, must be something wrong with this. And the writer, Robert Matheson, clearly does not have anything like background in science whatsoever, because he's like, I'm going to science this problem, and he has no bearing of why. He's like, oh, and he studies like molecular biology, and then figures it out. By the way,
He does.
It works.
He
He
does.
figures
Figures out
out
pretty well.
that there's a bacteria. And like in the book,
But like,
go ahead.
What's funny about that though is for the first 3 years of this, he wasn't able to put two and two together that like they don't like the sun.
Yeah, they don't like the sun.
But like, there's a literal part in the book. He's like, why not put that together?
Yeah, I was like, why not?
It's like, it's been 3 years.
They only come out at night.
But I get that. If I was hammered every day, playing music and like getting mad at zombies yelling at me, I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I missed a few things too.
Yeah, and which I mean, we could talk about this because it doesn't come into the effect of the in the book, in the movies. But in the book, there's like different levels of that.
Yes. Yeah.
There's like the hyperactive.
I'd say you get some of that in the Omega Man, but not
Really.
Not like the book.
It's not like the book.
Not like the book.
like that. And I Am Legend doesn't do it at all.
At all.
But there's like levels of like there's higher functioning vampires that are pretty indistinguishable from humans, other than they're pale and they come out at night and they drink blood.
Sure.
And then there's like another level that is like they died from the disease.
Right.
But
like,
then they
like reanimated.
They're reanimated from that, and then there's ones that were dead already, and they're like just zombies.
Yeah.
They're like they're basically maniacs.
There's levels to this.
There's levels. It's like a caste system. It's like Slumdog Millionaire, except fucking zombies, bro.
Chaiwala.
Nothing but a chaiwala.
That's, yeah, I would say that we're going to talk about really Omega Man and
Yeah, we're talking about Omega Man. That's it. I mean, I didn't even watch the Last Man on Earth.
The Last Man on Earth is the closest to the book in terms of.
We're talking about Will Forte, right? That one.
Yeah, we are. Not a bad show.
That's a great show.
Great
It's
show.
so funny.
Great show. We should have watched that.
We should have. We should have like, oh, we fucked up.
Yeah.
We did the wrong homework and stuff. Oh shit.
Like, yeah, the Vincent Price one. It's interesting if you have some free time. It's free on YouTube.
It's fascinating.
And like me and Pre were watching it. It suffers from budget that the films that we watch don't suffer from that. It does not suffer from Vincent Price because Vincent Price is awesome.
Vincent Price. This. You realize that this impression is slowly just going to become Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid. Press the circle button.
It looks like you've saved a Crash Bandicoot.
You cheated. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yes, I can do it. I can do this all day.
Of course.
And we will after this podcast is over.
You're damn right we will.
Yeah. But so, the Omega Man, yeah, but that was always my first impression was on WPIX 11 that they would always show it. And I never watched it because it was, I remember watching it once at like my grandmother's when I was a kid, and I was like, I think I fell asleep. I really don't remember watching it.
Yeah, it's so funny because like I've seen the cover art and stuff like that. I just never watched the film. But, we solved that.
We solved that mystery. So where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do? Comparisons?
I'll hit us with the synopsis, and then we'll go into we'll start breaking down all this shit.
Yeah,
it's gonna get good. Honestly, weirdly enough, the synopsis from I Am Legend actually kind of covered it, so I'll do that right now. Robert Neville is a brilliant scientist, I guess.
Brilliant.
Survivor of a man-made plague that transforms humans into bloodthirsty mutants. He wanders along through New York City, calling out for other possible survivors. He works on finding a cure for the plague using his own immune blood. Neville knows he's badly outnumbered and the odds are against him, and all the while, the infected wait for him to make a mistake that will deliver Neville into their hands. That's like the nice little framework of it. These movies are completely different the way they interpret the zombies. Like the way that there's like a love interest factor that comes into play in both films, and everything plays out different. But general idea, there's a guy who's a scientist. He was around during the plague that basically wiped out humanity. He thinks he's the last person left. He's trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yes.
And ultimately believes that he can potentially solve this with his own blood or whatever makes him immune to the zombie shit. And varying success.
Yes, varying success to say the least. They the big difference would be the monsters themselves.
Yes.
I think, right? Like the monsters themselves are almost like in the Omega Man. Well, in I Am Legend, they are basically like Robo. Not that's not it. Not Robo, but like spastic zombies that acting so quickly. They run. They like whatever, and they're screaming. There's no like communication. They're going after him at any chance they could get. And whereas in I Am Legend, the Omega Man, they're much more sentient.
They're very sentient for the most part. Like there are some that are less sentient, but there are enough sentient zombies that they have their own culture, their own religion, things along those lines.
Yes.
It's funny that like in all iterations of this story, everything's different. Like you read the book, they're vampires basically.
They are vampires. Literally, and they explain why he kills. Like he killed in the book, they're immune to bullets.
Yes.
The vampires have like they call it I think he calls it body glue or something like that. Body glue or something like that. And and it's the exposed wound that due to sunlight, due to UV rays, the UV ray makes whatever bacteria that makes them vampires. It creates them and it creates makes them parasitic. And so when you shoot them, the bullet does nothing because it doesn't open anything.
Right.
But if you hit him with a stake through the heart, then it opens up a wound, so UV light gets in, and they dissolve into nothing.
Right.
And then, but again, it comes back to that he clearly doesn't know anything about science. It's like that. So they're afraid of garlic. I don't know why. There's no real reason. They never explain it.
Parasite doesn't like garlic.
Yeah, and then they can't stand mirrors or crucifixes.
Which
crucify.
The crucifix doesn't make sense. The mirror kind of because it's hysterical blindness.
Hysterical blindness. It's almost like they're reacting the way they should react, and so that's why they do it, which doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
None whatsoever.
He has shoehorned vampires into a genetic disease.
Yes.
That's
okay. Sure, you could do that, but then don't try to explain it.
Right.
Like just then don't have the crucifixes be real.
Right.
Like that's okay. But whatever. I digress.
yeah.
We're not here to discuss the book, I guess. But go ahead.
Well, like what's interesting is like you said, the book tries to explain vampires. The Vincent Price story, The Last Man on Earth, basically does a Romero style zombie. Well, actually, Romero
You ripped that off.
basically took Night of the Living Dead and was inspired by that film. So like that's where we first get our kind of like slow zombies that we're used to seeing in film because you can just kind of push them around.
Yeah.
But your point about I Am Legend is like the more modern vampire zombie, which is the fast boat, like the fast zombie.
Like the first time I ever saw it was 28 Days Later. That was the first time I saw a fast zombie. And I was like, oh, that's so much cooler.
That was a game changer.
That was a game changer because now it's like, oh, that thing's coming at you.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that because 28 Days Later is much more effective.
Yes.
In showing zombies like that.
Correct. Yes.
This movie struggles.
Yeah, it struggles with that. I mean, as far with I Am Legend goes,
sure,
in the movie takes what I think the book would have done,
right,
and it does it. Oh, okay, that makes sense to be like that would be. Like they're exposed to sunlight, they don't have a glue on them.
Right.
But their skin is so sensitive that it almost melts in the sun because it becomes parasitic. That would make more sense. Almost the same way like certain fungi grows in sunlight and things like that. And I could see like it makes more sense from a scientific aspect.
I think I Am Legend pulls off the science really well.
Yeah.
It's just the visuals don't match that, right? So like they explain somewhat. They explain how disease works. Like it started out, it was some sort of cancer treatment.
Yeah.
It created a mutation that then, now these guys are like these unable to speak. Zombie things.
Yeah.
Right. I guess they're kind of like vampires in the sense that they don't like light, but they feel much more like zombies. To me.
Yes, they definitely feel like zombies.
Like you mentioned, vampires typically have human features. Like you could do an interview with a vampire.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what the book is that they were pretty much indistinguishable from human beings, other than they had really pale skin.
Which creates a moral quandary that the book handles fairly well compared to, I don't know, I Am Legend.
Yeah, but
into that.
And then in Omega Man, they're much more similar to that in that they're pretty indistinguishable from human beings, other than they have really pale skin. They're like albino.
Yeah,
albino.
Exactly. Look albino. They have like these color contacts in that make their eyes look pale.
They look white. Yeah, like white eyes.
Super sensitive to light. Super sensitive to a lot of different things.
UV rays.
UV rays, exactly.
But they are not bulletproof.
They're not bulletproof.
We could get into it right now. It's the most epic opening to a character of Charlton Heston driving down the streets of New York.
Let's come back to that when we get to the guys. But yes, we will talk about that.
Okay.
Like, they did this like Manson style family.
Yes, the family.
Like I like that somewhat. I like the zombies talk.
Yes.
In that film because they talk in the book.
Yeah.
To, like you mentioned, various levels. They don't really talk in I Am Legend, but like you get this whole sort of groovy Family Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, chill. We're gonna get him.
We're gonna get him. We are one, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting too. What they call everyone brother or sister, and he's friend.
Yes.
Which I thought was interesting.
That was interesting.
They call Charlton Heston friend.
Well, I think that part of that is because of the sort of culture community that they they manifested. Both these films have this plague. Clearly, in like we mentioned, I Am Legend, it's because of this cancer treatment going awry.
Yes.
And this basically China and Russia get into a war.
Yeah, and then it's China and Russia get into a war, and then somehow germ warfare comes into it. It's germ warfare.
Sure. The
Yeah.
Russo-Sino war.
Yeah.
I like that element of it because the zombies beef, just like Charlton Heston's the last book we did.
Yeah.
Humans destroy the world.
Humans destroy the world.
It's their fault, and now these mutants are like, we are the next evolution.
Correct.
We're gonna live in a world without these weapons of destruction. We're
Yes.
not going to purge the world again. So like, because Heston is the old man, he's got to be free. He can't be brother because he doesn't have the marks.
He doesn't have the marks.
Which there aren't really marks. They're kind of
the marks are just the eyes.
They're just the eyes.
Because they all wear sunglasses. And
they're pretty groovy.
oh, they're so groovy. They're all wear glasses just like this. They look just like that.
I think that
all aviators.
Totally. I think that it's very effective. It's dated. It looks a little silly, but like I think it's very effective to just have. All right, here are guys in clothes.
Yeah.
And that's how you know they're the bad guys.
Yeah, they're the bad guys.
You know, the albino thing, sure, but like if they're wearing a cloak, you know what's going on, and that's easy to film and shoot.
Yes. Not very realistic whatsoever.
No.
But
somehow more effective than what they did in I Am Legend, which is because they look so cartoonish and
yeah, but if that were to happen like that,
mm-hmm.
they might have like a shirt on, but they're not going to change it. Like, where are these cloaks coming from?
Yeah.
You know, like what do you go to the cloak store? Like,
that's true.
You're not doing that. There's not a sweatshop of these demons or whatever they are.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be.
Well, it's funny too though, because like talking about that hierarchy, they do integrate with other people because like Lisa and Richie, who we'll talk about, are in the group,
but they are also infected.
They are, yeah, they're partially infected.
infected.
That's a good point.
Yes.
It's going to come up.
Yeah, like the children are not. They're immune to it for whatever reason.
Right, which they haven't been able to explain.
Yeah.
And which I kind of like. You don't have to explain everything.
You don't.
What's good about the fact that they can speak and that they have their own community and stuff like that is when they're doing things, you don't have to ask questions like, how did they trick him?
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions about how the zombies in I Am Legend are able to like create traps and do different things. Because like they go from being mute, unable to think at all, according to Will Smith, and then they're able to create these like elaborate traps that like just kind of come out of nowhere. And I don't understand the mechanics of that for a movie that I think is trying to explain a lot of science that I don't really care about.
I mean, if you want to get into this discussion right now, I think it's because they're learning from him.
I agree.
Yeah, that he does the trap first.
It's fast learning. Though.
But with that other guy, I Am Legend is it could have been a great movie.
Yep.
Like, it could have been so great.
It could have been.
But they blink because the guy...
They blink a couple times.
The guy that what they're setting up, basically, is what they should do. It's almost like they try and set it up like Jon Snow and the Night King in Game of Thrones. He's matching his exact equal. Yes. That's what it is. He's just the zombie version of him. Mm-hmm. He's the leader of this, the alpha, whatever the fuck it is.
Which should work because we should be able to see that correlation.
Yeah.
And the movie implies it.
Yes.
And doesn't take the full step.
But I'm fine with that because he does the trap first, he gets the girl.
Sure.
And then because the alpha sees exactly what it is.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, but I can't help her because I'll die if I do that."
Yeah.
Because remember, he's trapped. He's watching it. Yeah,
I agree. I guess there's like other questions I have, like the level of observation they have on him. Let's get into our leads and then we'll start talking about Because I agree. Like this is all good shit, but I want everything in due time. Son of a bitch.
Charlton Heston.
In our 1971 film, we've got Charlton Heston who plays Dr. Robert Neville.
There is no phone ringing, damn it!
The last man on Earth lives in a fortress.
And in 2007, we have Will Smith, who plays Robert Neville.
I'm a survivor living in New York City. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday when the sun is highest in the sky.
No, Robert Neville. They're both military colonels, I believe.
Colonel scientists, yeah.
Yeah, they're colonels in the military working as bioengineering, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're both in these movies as compared to the book. They actually have medical backgrounds.
Yes.
So it's, although I will say I've never seen a scientist or anything like that that jacked as Will Smith is. He is beyond jacked in this movie.
I think that my impression of this film is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I remember shit like that, right? I remember that he's jacked, and I remember the dog. Like when I was like searching my memory banks, I think they leveraged that more than they should have because it took away from some of the
It did. It's like
storytelling.
it's like the whole time you gotta sit there and look at him and be like, why are you so ripped? Shouldn't you be in the fucking library? Like, shouldn't you be reading about this? Like, if you're that dedicated to this cause,
right?
And that's why you never trust a jack doctor.
You cannot trust a jack.
That motherfucker can't be a good doctor if he's at the gym 2 hours a day. He should be focused on diseases.
Yeah.
You think Jonas Salk was ripped? No.
That's true. Fucking.
Clara Barton wasn't fucking doing squats. She wasn't.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did not think we were going to talk about Jonas Salk today.
Oh, leave it alone. Leave it to me, my friend.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
I will say this, that like Will Smith, because of the backstory that they have, where, first of all, they completely threw that cancer lady under the bus. They were like, you fucked
Yeah, fucking Emma Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you fucked this up.
Yeah, she did.
But like Will Smith, conversely, wants to solve it
Yeah.
so hard. He's like, this is New York, this is ground zero, this is like my thing. And like, he's got this drive where he thinks the world ending's on him.
Yes, he does. Because he feels like he was a proponent of it happening.
Yeah, I kind of like that element to an extent, that he's so, like, even when he's with his family, he's like, this is on me. I gotta solve this. You guys can
Get the
disappear,
fuck out
but
of here.
I'm gonna fucking fix this. And that seems to be what's driving him throughout the film. And I kind of appreciate that that's driving him. But I think there are times where it doesn't work, because I really do feel that Charlton Heston feels like if a dude was the last guy left.
Yeah, he does. Because he's not really trying anymore. He's not. He doesn't. He's kind of hanging out until he meets the other survivors.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, we should try and save this kid.
Yeah.
Because he tried it and it almost got him killed. Which, can we discuss that right now?
Sure.
He finds these other survivors who, a couple of them are infected, but they're not far along in the stages. They have some resistance in their blood to it, whatever it is. And then he says that I even captured one of them and tried to cure him on my own. And then it flashes back to him fighting the fucking thing.
It's so
in
good.
the fucking apartment.
It's so good.
He's like flipping him over. I captured one. Oh! It was like a comic.
He was like, all right.
And he was like, this is terrible. It ends with him like throwing him through a table. He's like, and then he died anyway. And then it comes back to him, he's like, yeah, he died anyway.
Right.
So, like, you couldn't write a better comedy scene. Dude, some of the fucking
such a
visuals
funny
in it,
film.
it's so silly. It's so, like, when they're in the stadium, and, like, they're running at him, and they're throwing the grenades at him, and the fucking guys are lighting on fire. And they're like, whoa! I was dying.
It's actually, to your point about Charlton Heston, it's so much more fucked up because you can talk to them.
Yes, you can clearly reason with these people. Like, listen, I don't care. I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I'll come out during the day. You got the night. Leave me alone.
It's not even like...
That's why I Am Legend as the movie, the remake, like it works a lot better because you can communicate with them. So,
right. So like experimenting on them is more of an end to the mean for humanity.
Yes.
In the Omega Man, there's there's many people who argue with him. It's like, well, why don't we try to like cure them? He's like, fuck that.
They're vermin.
Which is a lot like the book, you know? Like, he calls them bastards all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I love that Charlton Heston quit.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck
this. I'm not doing this.
Fuck this. It's been 3 years.
He's like, I'm going to the movies.
I tried, yeah. I'm watching Woodstock again.
Woodstock, which he would never be watching Woodstock.
Yeah, that's true.
Never.
That character would
not be watching Woodstock, nor would Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, now that's... They don't make pictures like that. Yeah, he'd be shooting at the screen. Peace, love, and Eddie's sitting there with a machine gun. Oh, this is music. I'm like, fuck that. Get the fuck out of here, Charles.
Yeah, it is true. His attitude about things fluctuates so wildly.
Yeah.
It's so funny that it is funny, but then it does, like, ease in and out of, like, I don't want to say tension, but, like, there are times where I feel like I'm in this universe.
Yes.
Which I shouldn't.
You shouldn't at all.
Like, the dudes are talking like it's the Warriors.
Yes.
They're like, come on, brother. We'll get his turf.
My favorite was that when the clearly black dude.
Yeah, clearly.
The guy clearly with the fro that they just spray painted white. That
Patience, brother.
Patience, brother. But he's like, we'll go over there in that honky crib. You know, like, so racism still exists?
Yes!
Like,
Yes!
It's like, patience, brother.
Well, racism definitely exists because when you mentioned the survivors, basically when...
I have to call him a honky?
when the like, partially mutant people...
Like when the mutants in I Am Legend, it's fucking N-word.
Yeah.
Fix this.
Could you be mad at them?
No, well, no, in this case.
I mean, they shouldn't be racist.
They shouldn't be.
But the last guy left was black. He's causing a lot of problems.
He's causing a lot of problems for these mutants.
Oh, man.
Never leaves a tip.
Never
leaves a tip. He's always loud in that movie theater. By himself.
By himself. Oh, man.
Honestly, by the way, why would he go to a movie theater? It's the only place where it's completely dark.
Completely dark.
Completely dark.
I bet zombies love the movie.
Yeah, they love that movie theater. They never miss a showing of Woodstock. And Woodstock, which came out 2 years before this movie.
Yeah.
That was, like, the concert happened 2 years before this movie.
Right. It's just so funny that in all of basically New York, that's the movie continues to watch. Like, is this really the only movie theater that survived?
You're not fucking up Casablanca? Like, Wizard of Oz. They even make a Wizard of Oz reference in the movie.
Yeah.
When they're like, we're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz, meaning him, and like he's gonna fix their problems, but it's just fucking this goddamn Dr. N-word killer.
I'll say this:
but can we also discuss?
Sure.
Why is it? I'm just saying
Don't
this.
you hate zombies?
I'm just saying this. Why is it? Like, yes, blackface is offensive, but I always find whiteface just as offensive. Like, no, like, I don't fucking talk like that. Like, no. You know what it is? It's because we're guilty. That's why.
That is the difference. That is the difference. One is meant to subjugate and keep someone down. The
I
other
guess.
is just making fun of the...
I suppose.
De facto
the lameness. The lameness.
There's some lame. But, like, you're not a lame white guy. You could have been one of the family.
I remember the family that went on like, hey, guys, we started like a softball league.
You know what's crazy, though? Like, they're making points. Because, like you mentioned, you should just be like, all right, nighttime, that's all you. Daytime, that's all me. But Charlton Heston hates them so much. They're like, every night he does... go out and he like shoots as many
shoots as many as he can.
And Matthias or whatever, who we'll talk about, was like, he is literally their version of the Grim Reaper.
Yes.
It's like, which happens kind of for both of these films, but it's much more apparent in Omega Man.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, just getting to like hone this shit down in like an easy sentence. Charlton Heston, though he has a responsibility, I guess, is abdicating it. He wants no part of trying to save the world.
No,
it's
he wants
over.
nothing. It's over.
Leave me the fuck alone.
That toilet is flushed.
Will Smith is so focused on saving the Earth that he's losing his humanity.
Yeah, he's losing his humanity because based on his
He's trying to.
obsession. Based
Right.
on obsession.
Right. And I personally, I don't know about you, I personally prefer the kind of hands-off Heston approach because it just feels fun.
Oh, it's much more fun. For what everything he's doing in the beginning is exactly what I'd be doing. Exactly what I did that during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, we have to talk about that.
Yes.
Watching all of this and reading this felt so different.
It's so different
Post-COVID-19.
Post-COVID-19, for sure. And granted, like, it wasn't as bad as these guys have it.
No.
Because,
No.
I mean, they literally had no one to talk to. There was nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't... Like, you could watch TV all day, but it's going to run out.
Right.
Like, there's not new shit coming out.
Sure.
You couldn't go on the internet, talk to other people. So it's different. But also, well, just get back to that main point of, like, his carefree attitude towards it. There's no background to him that we know of.
Right.
As far as he doesn't have a wife and kid.
Right.
So
That's a good
Will
point.
Smith does.
Yeah.
So if they
That's
die,
fair.
they died in vain. Like
Right.
if he's just like fuck it, I don't care, then they died for nothing.
That's actually an excellent point.
Yeah, that he's going
should
for.
consider. You know, which is closer to the source material.
Yes.
The fact that
Yeah,
he had a
loses.
family.
He had a family too.
Yeah, I think that when they introduce a family, because I agree that does show motivation that I may not have considered. So I appreciate that point.
My pleasure. That's what I'm here for, guys.
Of course. Like, again, like this movie does constantly, they blink on the family. Are we doing the family or are we not doing the family?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do the family, I think there needs to be one more scene of somebody starting to turn. Or something like that. Right?
Oh, okay.
Because we're introducing them, they just kind of disappear and we assume they...
They died in the helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't they? He puts
They
them on the
did.
helicopter. The helicopter crashes
Oh, yeah. All right.
when they're trying to escape
Yeah, well-
because of the zombies.
Yeah.
I think one of the guys turned
No, it turns into...
one of the pilots does.
Yeah, kind of like in the Heston film.
Yeah.
You're right. So, yes.
Which he's fined, by the way, from getting up from that plane crash.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston is.
I guess so. In some ways, my erroneous point still stands. Is that in the book and the Vincent Price film, the family is affected by the disease.
Yes.
And yes, the disease caused the plane to crash. But like, I think having them kind of turn and him grappling with humanity in that way would have been interesting.
Yeah, like in the book, the disease kills them, but
Yes.
they don't come back as vampires or zombies. Nothing. Like they just die. They die.
Right. But no, I don't know. Actually, your point's great though, because that could spur a lot of this hatred and obsession.
Yeah, I think it's like because he doesn't seem to hate them.
Yeah.
Like he's not doing
He kind
it.
of dismisses them.
He dismisses them. He's like, oh, I gotta. He's like, I gotta help these people.
Talk.
You know what? Yeah, he doesn't talk, but it's almost the same way you would, like if your dog was sick, like you're like, I gotta take care of the dog. Like, and like, oh, this is what's good for you. You don't know anything.
Yeah, you don't have a say.
You don't have a say in this.
Right.
Like, this is what's happening. Like, we need to, and he does it through like clinical trials and stuff. And and then with everyone, but Charlton Heston is like, fuck that. I'm not doing any of that shit. Like,
and that's a kind of like that bachelor
Yeah.
element of him, which I don't know. As stupid as it is, because I think there's so much that is affected about the Will Smith story, but they don't take it far enough.
no, they don't.
Which is why I'm just like, you know what? I'm fine with Heston just
Just
throwing
killing-
around.
Yeah, just throwing around.
Even when he fight, like all the fight scenes are hilarious. All of the fight scenes are hilarious. But even when he's like in the car and they like trap him and they like light the car on fire, he's like, what the fuck?
He's like, stops short the car. The guy goes flying into the box.
Yeah.
Like, but it was clearly an actual guy doing it.
totally.
You know? Like, and then there's my favorite thing is like when he's watching. He's trying to eat dinner.
Yeah.
Or he's sitting there or listening to music or drinking. He's doing something, and then they have the catapult of like the fireballs, and they're firing it at his apartment. And one goes in his house. He's like. Like goes over with that fire extinguisher, like, and just pulls out the enormous gun and just starts picking them up. He's like, anyway, like turn off the lights, go back to bed.
In a movie where Will Smith should have been better equipped based off it, he has a lab and electricity. Like they both have electricity, but mostly he has a lab.
Yeah, he has a lab.
Charlton Heston's equipment is more outfitted for the zombies.
Yeah.
You know, like, that gun has, like, this, like, infrared
gun, yeah.
And it's like, I love that he outfitted his house. They're both fortified, but, like, Heston's just got a much better setup.
He does have, well, listen, Will Smith's is much more fortified.
Yes.
But, like, he has, like, gates on gates on gates. His is, like, those fucking, like, when you were in gym class and you had those, like, or, like, those, what's those gates that, like, just, you pull the metal gates.
Okay.
What am I just... The accordion gates.
Okay,
accordion gate. That's what it looks like. It's just like, lock it. It's like, yeah, that'll keep out the fucking monsters. But like, I could kick that open if I wanted to.
Same setup that the original Scarface, the Chicago Scarface had. So I'm cool with it.
I'm cool with it. It's like,
Little
okay.
thing, point out,
But that was, there were so many things that, like, because it's like I guess maybe the fighting and stuff and the action is not there at all. It's so funny. Like that when they jump on his car. First of all, I didn't know they were attacking him at the beginning. When he hit the button, I saw the doors open and like they were pouring something. I was like, do you have a butler? What's going on here? Like, and he's like, there's fire. He's like, oh shit, It's so funny.
So funny.
It's hilarious. And when they kidnap him, when they finally capture him, and like he's getting the wine, he's like, oh no, and then they just knock over the wine. He's in the wine cellar and they knock it over, and then they all jump on and just beat him up. It's so stupid. It looked like a bunch of Muppets beating him up. It was hilarious.
It does feel very Muppety.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. I laughed so loud so many times at this movie.
But see, to me, that's another missed opportunity of I Am Legend, which, because he's so proficient, it makes sense that this character's still alive, but you don't get the nightly terror. Like, sure, he locks it down, but he doesn't have... The zombies don't know where he lives.
Yeah, they don't know where he lives.
So, he's got the fortification, which is great, and you should. But, like, we don't get that visceral example of them, like, clawing at these things.
Yeah, that's true. Until the end. Until they do know where he lives.
Until the end. But I guess maybe that's a consequence of the zombies being so fucking powerful for some fucking reason. Like, I think I like that it's scary and shit like that, but I would almost want to like scale it back so it feels more manageable. You know?
Okay.
Like, the other films feel manageable, even in like the...
It does. It does feel much more manageable. But also, he could... That's one thing about Charlton Heston, like, which they did much better in I Am Legend, talking about, like, that he says, like, I want to be here because it's ground zero.
Sure.
This is where it started.
Right.
This is where I'm going to stay. Charlton Heston's just like, fuck that. It's my fucking house. That's why. He's like, why do you live there? Because I lived there before. I'll still live there. Who the fuck are you? Like,
going back to the honky shit. Right? Like the black albino dude who's like, how the fuck he get to live all nice and shit?
Exactly. We gotta live in sewers and shit.
And he's not wrong.
Fucking honky.
I love that though. Like I think I have a Charlton Heston bias because I'm sitting here and I'm like, he's on the highest floor. Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Terrible. No escape.
Yeah, no escape. If they get in, you're over. It's over.
That's a wrap. And they get in quite often.
They get in like every night. It's like, bring dinner. It's like a 90s sitcom. I heard that.
Oh man, but like and it's actually fucking...
Hi, Matthias. Like a ladder comes up, like Heston explains it all.
What's this kid from...
Sam?
Yeah, Sam. Sam come with the fucking thing.
Dude, he climbs
Matthias has his cloak tied around his waist. Puts his chair back. What's up?
What's up? So, girl trouble? I don't know, Matthias. This motherfucker beat me at chess again. You're not playing anyone. Richard, you're not playing anyone for the last time.
I don't know. Like, maybe it shouldn't be fun.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Right?
But it seems pretty fun.
But like, Heston's layout, the way he's got his liquor set up, the way his little mannequin boy's got the hat.
He's got the giant snifter.
He wears robes and fineries, smokes like cigars and shit. He's chilling.
He's having a great time. Going to the movies.
I just think that like, I would want my zombie apocalypse
To
to
be
look like
Charlton
that.
Heston, yes.
I wouldn't want it to look like Will Smith.
Also, like the Will Smith, that what he does, it gets the whole thing of isolation.
Yeah.
But he sets up like the mannequins.
Yeah.
He talks to the mannequins, which also I thought that the director of it did a very good job because some of the mannequins are mimes.
Oh, really?
That they're actual people.
Oh, wow.
And so they move a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to get the feeling like, oh, they're alive.
Oh.
So it like tricks your
listen,
mind.
that's cool.
Yeah. So it tricks your mind into thinking it's like an actual
That's really
person.
cool, actually.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think Fred was a mime. And then
real friend.
yeah. What are you doing here, Fred? But it's almost like that delusion that they touch on in Omega Man. Like he has the delusion of. Like he talks to them every day. Said
Right.
like, "What's up?" He goes to Blockbuster,
Sure.
which I don't know if by 2009 that was still existed. I know it came out in 2007, but by 2009,
Right. But it's been 3 years.
yes,
So he's like, his president is 3 years after the world collapse.
yes,
So
okay, maybe.
Blockbuster be frozen in time.
yeah, Blockbuster frozen
As it
time.
is currently.
As it is currently in limbo,
I know.
frozen literally because it's in Alaska.
I know what you mean.
But so he talks to them, whereas the same thing you're saying, like, I could see myself doing what Charlton Heston's
Yes.
doing when he goes and buys the car,
Right.
meaning he's just taking the car.
You.
And he walks in like, what's going on here? How much you give me for my Ford? And he's talking to a non-existent salesman, and he's like, piece of shit, always screwing you over. And then he takes off in the Mustang. Both of those cars, by the way, are awesome.
He has so many moments of levity before he meets Lisa. Like when he gets kind of like scared and he's like in the hands of the mannequin, kind of like gives it a look. Like it's like he has so many moments like that where he's just chilling.
Just
chilling. Let's go because we talked about it. Let's really talk about these intros.
Oh.
Because that sets the tone for the entire film.
Yes, it does.
Right there. Like I'll start with Will Smith because that feels more appropriate in this.
Yeah. More realistic.
More realistic, and I think they're trying to capture this briefly in this moment because it's really ultimately dumb. Will Smith driving the Mustang
Yes.
really fast through New York, which is cool because we
Yeah.
get the setting, we understand how fucked up it is. I think that New York looks like what you would expect. It's overgrown.
Yes. Which is, by the way, it's also different in the book. It was Los Angeles.
Yes, it was.
And they get much more affected because there's a war in the book, I think.
There
but
is
it's
a
not.
war.
But it's not. It does. It's everything's like a dust bowl.
Yeah.
Like it's not like.
I was actually just on that part. They were talking
Yeah.
about the war. Yeah.
Yes, but they don't. I don't think they explicitly say what the war was.
They don't. The war happened, and then like they're kind of complaining because like Neville and his wife are complaining about the dust.
Yeah.
And she's saying it looks like the mosquitoes one because like the bugs are so prevalent
Yeah.
at this time because of the dust and the war and shit like that. And then one of the characters, I can't remember which one, but basically says, "Who won the fucking war?" Basically.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they joke and say the bugs won.
That Edward doctor. That honky doctor.
Honky doctor.
Honky doctor. Why's he got to live with that honky, please?
Honky ass.
Honky ass.
Uh,
Put my
we
foot in
moving
his
on
crack
up
ass.
to the east side, to that deluxe apartment. Oh man.
But then, yeah, so, but, and then in New York, which would make more sense because if there's no irrigation to Los Angeles, it's gonna, like, it's dried up. Like, it doesn't.
Like, I prefer New York just in terms of the sheer amount of volume.
Yes.
Like, you could survive longer because things are closer.
Yes, things are close, like waterways and whatnot. And then, but there's also, like, much more localized fresh water that it would be, like.
Yeah.
All that stuff, like all that stuff would probably work because it worked before.
Yes.
Like generators, you know, like the water would work.
Right. All that.
Yeah, all that would work.
I agree. They're like
Until it didn't. But
correct. I think that the setting for both these films, because I believe Omega Man's also
in New York.
Yeah. First of all, maybe it's my East Coast bias, but I love that it's in New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some questions in I Am Legend about how people from different places get there because they allegedly blow up the bridges into
Yeah.
where are they, Manhattan?
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
he's in Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how people get there, whatever, how they're gonna get out. I don't like not to get too deep into it, but there are some questions because I Am Legend is dipping into this realism
Yeah.
in a way Omega Man is not.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it causes more scrutiny, which is why for the intro, I'm scrutinizing something that's actually cool. Like he's driving a Mustang with a fucking sniper rifle shooting at deer. But like, there's no reason for him to do that.
No.
The way he's so cautious and the way he's living his life. Like he could hit any one of those deers without this scene.
Yeah, without going down in the Mustang.
I know why they did it, because you're setting the frame of the movie,
because
making him cool.
It's making him cool, but it's also giving you the layout of the land. Like, this is destroyed.
Yeah.
This is...
That's awesome, but they don't sit in it.
No.
So, are we doing badass fun? Like, when he's doing pull-ups and shit like that. Like, I'm cool with Will Smith just being jacked and shooting zombies. But they want him to be a scientist.
Yeah,
they want him to be a family man. They want
yeah.
him to, like... he's unfortunately doing too much.
Yeah, it's pick a lane.
And Charlton Heston only has to be Charlton Heston.
Yeah, he does have to. He's Charlton Heston. Which, by the way, he is like the most in shape, out of shape person. Like he's like the last of the in shape, out of shape dudes. Like it's like him, Robert Mitchum, and stuff that are like. But then Charles Bronson
the
came.
motherfucker with the mustache, Longshard.
Robert Shaw?
No, Burt Reynolds.
Oh, Burt. Oh yeah, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
But he was more in shape.
Burt Reynolds
He was British. Like he was. He definitely worked out.
He like weirdly Heston does look kind of good here, but like his stomach is just
it's like and plus he's like flat. There's no definition to
nothing.
it. Like nothing. Like he's got those old man arms that like it just goes straight down.
Yep.
Like there's no definition there, and then he then like his you could I just love that.
It's
It's like
imagine Hank from Breaking Bad looks like under there.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's got like the pants that are way up to there.
Yeah.
And you're like, there's no way this guy's watching Woodstock.
Shirtless so often.
Oh, he's shirtless so often. And like his outfits are exactly the kind of shit I'd wear.
Oh man,
Like we'll get to the end, but his outfit,
color.
not my color. But he's wearing like the jumper with the fucking curdle hat
That
on.
shit
Like
was
I'd be doing the
awesome.
same shit. I have a pipe.
I was sitting there, I was like, can I cosplay
Yeah,
this shit?
exactly. Like I would do
amazing,
this. This is
dude.
exactly what. And I dressed like crazy shit during the pandemic. Like I was wearing there was like 2 weeks when I just wore a robe. Like it was the same. It was a Chewbacca robe, and you closed it, and like they had like the things.
Oh, dude, I got this shit upstairs for like the winter months. It's a Udi. It's basically a big ass blanket with like.
Oh, great!
And like I'm just sitting there and like Udi and like yoga shorts. Just like this is my look.
This is my life.
Like, no one's gonna see me again.
No one's gonna see me again.
I grew my hair out all crazy. Like, and that's again going back to the pandemic. That's why this movie kind of hit for me, because he did isolation. I think the way a lot of us did, which was trying to have fun even though we were stuck at home.
Yes.
It's like Tiger King isolation.
Yes.
Is what Heston's giving me, and like the actual apocalyptic future is what Will Smith was giving me. And I think,
Exactly.
I think it was a little too much for me to just be like.
It's almost like Charlton Heston. How can I put it? It's like he had the stakes, but he already accepted them. That it's like whatever. I don't care.
He was
like
ready
there
to
are
die.
no stakes anymore. He doesn't care. He's not
Right.
He's not playing the game anymore.
Like, man.
Who am I gonna save? Me? I'm good.
I'm so interested that like we're actually getting into this, because I didn't expect to give a fuck about any of this. But like when Will Smith meets another character later in the film, and she believes in God, she's like deeply religious. She's like, there is no God, right?
Yeah.
That line worked for Heston, right?
Yes.
Because
he's let God go.
It's over.
It's clear that he has.
It's over. He just at this point is holding a grudge against
Them.
the monster.
Yeah, the only thing he lives is to kill those things.
Yeah.
That's all he really cares
If
about.
he knew where their nest was, he would go there that
Yes,
day,
that
and
day.
he would blow them away.
Yeah, blow him, like, he would go there that
And would
day.
feel nothing about
like,
it.
he would literally pick up a map, like, if you gave him, like, oh, they're right there. He's like, all right. And he'd walk out with that map and go right there to kill them.
Because when Richie was like, I know where they live, he's like, do you?
You do? Do you? Really? That's true. He's like, whereas he's looking for redemption.
Research. Yes, redemption.
Which is obviously why
Which is why they play so much fucking Bob Marley.
Which, my biggest... Listen, I love Bob Marley.
Me
I
too.
love that album. But
Yes.
when he picks it up, he's like, this is the greatest album ever made. That is not an album. That is the greatest hits album. That does not count. Shut up. If it's a live album, sure, then you can play the greatest hits because they played them live in a row. But that it does not count.
Every time...
The fucking Beatles #1 is the greatest then. Like, what are you talking? No. Michael Jackson #1.
Yes. Well, that might be.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's not, you can't consider that an album.
I agree. Might be, and apparently that was just like a Will Smith thing.
Yeah, of course it was.
Like he,
But he had so much influence in this movie,
had,
by the way. He picked the director, he picked everything. Mm-hmm. It was all him. It was his idea for Shrek to be involved, everything.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course.
Yeah.
All the wrong decisions
Yes.
were his.
Of course.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even when they try to shoehorn in Bob Marley was about peace and blah, 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 like, it was bad.
Yeah.
It made Bob Marley.
I was like, I fucking get it. It's like, I get it. And then when they played Redemption Song at the end.
Yeah, that was
trash. Yeah.
Trash.
And I love that song.
It's a phenomenal.
One of the few songs I can still play on guitar from memory right now. If I can play it right now, thank you. I'll do it now. I am not ready. I'm not ready.
Oh, please.
I haven't played it in years. Oh, what do you know? Perfectly true. Anyway, but yeah, they drive that into the fucking ground.
They kill it.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much. I didn't know. Everyone I talked to was like, no, I love the Bob Marley.
It was bad.
It's like, dude, I love Bob Marley too, but every fucking 5 seconds, I'm like, okay, I'll just listen to the album. I like the album, but... And then the dog's name is Marley. Peace Love. He's got a Peace Love.
His daughter's name is Marley.
Oh yeah, what's his daughter? The dog's name Sam.
Sam Marley though.
Sam Marley. Sam Marley.
The Lost Marley.
Lost Marley. He's the one that went after Scrooge.
The fucking it made me hate Bob Marley. And I love that. I love all that music. So much.
I love it too.
But
it's so shoehorned. You're right.
People that like it's shoehorned.
It's so shoehorned.
But like one time I went to a tattoo shop, right, and there was a mother and daughter that were there, and they were trying to get "Don't Worry About a Thing" tattooed on one of them. Every little thing's gonna be all right tattooed on another one, and I was like, I'm going to burn this fucker down. It was the honkiest shit.
Yeah, the honkiest shit.
I turned out bottom. I was like, we gotta get these honkies.
We got these honkies. That honky place right there.
I just don't like the way they tried to make this Bob Marley thing work.
Because it's so shoehorned. He's like, because he was all about peace, love, and he got up there and said, like, what the fuck does that have to do with what you're doing here? Nothing. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. You want peace and love? Kill yourself. These things will be fine.
You know he was like, all right, so then after I redeem myself, we play redemption.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't cried because there's no women.
Right.
No woman, no cry.
No. That might as well be dialogue.
Might as well have thrown it in.
It's so bad. But like going back to why I even brought that up though, is that he is like this like religious. There is no God. God killed us all. Blah blah blah. But at the same time, he has this hope.
Yeah. So yeah, he has.
So he really. Isn't it so weird how he reacts to finding more humans?
Well, yeah, they don't go with him. It's like Charlton Heston. He does the only thing they do with like his delusions are the phone ringing.
Sure.
But this guy would not. He's like, it's not. The phone is not ringing. That's it.
I did like that.
But that's it. Like he knows he's not talking to a salesman. He knows, like, he knows he's not talking to a mannequin.
His brain,
but he kind of does.
His brain is intact, but like, it comes and goes. Right?
Yeah,
it's like really loose because like.
Yeah, he doesn't stay committed to it.
No, like when he's talking to the guy playing chess, he's nuts. When he's hearing the phone, he's nuts. But then like. Oh, what's up, bitch?
But he's talking to the guy playing chess, but he's not really talking to him.
Right.
He's doing it like the same way I would talk to someone. Mm-hmm. And I did that shit during fucking quarantine.
Yeah. Like that fucking off screen, there's like a unicorn. Like you're talking to the guy, hey, what's up, buddy? How's the weather?
Well, that's good, man.
Like I know it's not real.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because even Will Smith, I don't love the way he reacts to them. Like, but I get it. Because he is at the point where he's talking to mannequins.
Yeah.
So, like, the humans... I even get the line. I actually thought this was one of the stronger moments was when he was mad. He was like, I was saving that bacon.
Yeah.
Like, I had a plan. I had all these things I wanted to do, and you fucked it up. So, like, I could kind of see why he would react to other people because they're fucking up his rhythm.
Yes.
But also because he is so obsessed with solving this.
Yes.
I don't think he would react that poorly
No, he wouldn't.
to more scientific evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be like, "Yo, can I get your blood sample?"
Yeah,
or
it's like,
something
I want to see what matches in our blood and what's different, what's the same. Like,
But he just kind of like shuns
he's
it.
like, oh, what the fuck do you put out that fucking that APB for? That he'll be at the bridge every day at midday.
Right. Like, did you really believe humanity and God are dead? Because if you do,
Yeah, it's like pick one.
stop trying.
Yeah, exactly. There's like again, this is another time when it blinks.
Yeah.
Like the show, like it's like why are you trying then? If you don't believe in God, like if you not God, but like in any kind of hope,
Right.
Why bother?
Right,
Like,
because-
because like you all
because
think your kids will die in vain. Okay.
Yeah.
Then explore that. Then it's
know,
that you're
then-
such a narcissist.
I don't want to wait in vain.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't wanna wait in
Sorry.
vain. I'm just like, I saw
Can we
these.
drop every bomb on
Yeah, sure. I mean, if I could, but I mean, it's just sometimes I feel like a buffalo soldier.
Whoa. Stolen from Africa?
Stolen from Africa.
Wow.
in the heart of the Caribbean.
I would have, actually, if they were going to go so hard in the Bob Marley thing, I would have loved him shooting shit saying Buffalo Soldier. I would
Yeah.
just,
I'm a
that's
Buffalo
the thing, like,
Soldier.
embrace it. to your
Yeah, if
point.
you're gonna do that, like embrace it much more that he's lost his mind, because
Yeah.
that's much more interesting
Yes.
too. Like it's
Yes.
like he's lost his mind due to quarantine.
'Cause then we would
we all
question-
kind of lost our minds in quarantine.
Because then we would question, is she real?
Exactly. Initially, is she a figment of? And they could play with you
Throughout
Play
the
with
entire
that,
thing,
yes.
like, was she, wasn't she?
What was she? Wasn't she real? And like as he's getting distant from humanity, is he getting distant? All that
Right,
shit.
right.
So, but all right, finish your fucking soup. Soup, piece of shit. Yeah. So, where we end up? We finished.
I'll bring us back in. Yeah, like, yeah, I just really do think that committing to something would really help I Am Legend a lot. Because I want to go with some of these threads, and then there's some I don't want to go with. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to do the Shrek thing, I don't want to do some of the other stuff, but like, yeah, it's like I just want to like decide: are we trying to get the redemption song, or are we trying to?
Well, you gotta look at them as three little birds. So, just upon the doorstep, singing sweet songs. But no, there's no. Yeah, is he going for like he is trying to redeem like humanity, but he says that there's no hope. If there's no hope, then what's he doing? Like
Right.
he doesn't. It's like picking one or the other. And
Right.
if he descends into madness, so you don't know if they're real or not, that's cool too. But then because he's confused, or if he confuses them with monsters.
I think the isolation is the best part of the film.
Yeah, it could be.
When
It could have been.
Right. Like when he's going through his routine with Sam. And he almost loses Sam because he goes into the dark.
Yeah.
That stuff feels pretty good when...
Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think that there's so many moments where Will Smith actually does get to shine. I think in some regards they're a little cheap in terms of the way they play on the audience, like killing the dog. You know,
yeah, for sure.
some of the stuff they do where when he gets upset at the zombies and tries to chase them down, when he stabs himself, like there's these individual moments with Will Smith that feel pretty good, and he is a star where it's compelling just to see.
So, is she getting
I think the zombies are out there right now.
Are we living through this?
I better go
Vermin.
I just grabbed my fire extinguisher.
Yeah, just fire. Son of a bitch. Oh, I usually dress up for dinner on Sundays.
Yeah, but like there are these moments where I think Will Smith is nailing it, right? Like especially the dog scene. Like they zoom in really close to his face, you don't see what's happening. It's all sounds and implied.
Yeah.
And he is a compelling protagonist.
Yeah.
He does have the star power that you would just watch a movie about him, but then they're trying to do all this stuff halfway
Yeah.
around it. Like I said, commit to the family. Like, yeah, they blew up in the helicopter, but give them the disease.
Yeah.
Give him that turmoil. If he is losing his mind, give him more scenes where he's losing his mind. He thinks he's seeing stuff before he sees another human. Because even Heston has that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the girl, it's such a bad scene when she's, like, in the store like this. But, like, you're able to follow that because Heston has been talking to himself the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I didn't know what direction they wanted to take Will Smith. And if they had chosen one, I think whatever the result, I would have been fine with it. But they give you a taste of a bunch of different things and no commitment. Real strange.
Yeah. Anyway, that like Charlton Heston though. You could see like, but they do better in like his routine
Yes.
in Will Smith's routine. Like you can see what he does every day.
Yeah.
You see like he watches the movie, watches the news, the reruns of the news, and then he makes food and whatever, and then Charlton Heston like. His only routine that they kind of discuss is like he does on. I always dress up for dinner on Sundays. That's it. That's really all he does.
Yeah.
He's like, what day is it? Oh, I always dress up on Sunday, and that's it.
Yeah, because you're right. Going back to the intro, I don't think that's what he does every day. I don't think he just drives down Main Street playing a random 8-track. Like, it looks pleasant, but does he like happen to see a random guy in the window he wants to shoot? Like. Yeah, what is his routine? I don't know that at all.
But we also didn't talk. Did we talk about that? As we talked about him, we talked about Will Smith's intro. That intro, is phenomenal.
You're right. We talked about Will Smith, and my only point about Will Smith was that
unnecessary.
It's unnecessary because he's smart in the movie, like we were saying before, and he would not take a sniper rifle out of a window while driving 80 miles per hour.
No,
he'd be more cautious and systematic about that. So it conflicts with the actual character, just to set up the scenery. Which I'm fine with setting up the scenery, but there's a different way to do it. You know, because you're trying to do this badass thing, because that's what that is.
Yeah,
right? Driving a fucking red Mustang with a gun, that's badass. But then every other scene, you're in a lab. You're in a lab coat.
Yeah, you're in a lab coat that your arms are ripping through.
Right, right.
But I'm supposed to take you seriously because you put on glasses? Come on.
and like I said, because Heston, funny enough, gives us no real expectation at the beginning.
Nothing, no.
I don't know what this... Like, I love it, but I don't know what this is. Where's he driving?
Who's that? What's that in the window? Like, because he's just driving down the street. He's driving down a desolate street in the middle of a city in a red convertible. Which is an awesome car, by the way.
Great car.
It's a great car. That I was like, why would you replace that car? That's a great car. Doesn't get good mileage. What do you care? Also, I love people neglect. You know that gas goes bad, right? Like if you're hoarding all this gasoline, it goes bad eventually. That you don't, but it doesn't matter. But then he stops the car, just randomly stops on like 7th Avenue, just to see, pulls out an Uzi, just shooting at a... Shooting at the fucking building, because he sees a shadow going past.
It's one of the most phenomenal intros.
And that his gun is the gun that I would use all the time. Like the 1990s... like LA gangster gun with like the circles in the barrel, like to cool off.
You look like Rolo Tomasi.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Oh, it's too funny. Oh, it's so good. I loved it. Like that intro for him. It's like I don't need to know. This is everything you need to know about this guy. Then he just gets in the car and leaves. Yeah. Like he doesn't like hang around. He's not going. He stopped to shoot at that thing.
Yeah. And as ridiculous as it is, because it's a ridiculous intro.
Yes.
It's not like later on. He just throws in a lab coat. There's so many different things that happen before he gets thrown in a lab coat again.
Yeah.
That lunatic with the machine gun is reinforced. And even the family call him like a lunatic. Like, you're
Yeah.
crazy. You're out here with your gun shooting shit up, and it's like, they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. No.
They're not wrong. Like,
No, he's like, yeah, he's a fucking
he's a
menace.
reckless
He's a
dude.
menace.
Yeah.
He's a menace.
But I like that character. Jesus, guys.
Jesus.
All right, it was weird as I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but like I like that intro because it allows Charlton Heston to then do whatever he wants
Yeah.
from there. No punch was pulled. Anything else is fair game. When Will Smith's doing almost effectively the same thing, but not really. Like, it's so framed. It's so obvious that they're trying to like make him badass.
Yeah.
It's not obvious at all. Like, the Charlton Heston's like playing like jazzy music.
Yeah, he's
driving.
He's literally like the villain in Roadhouse. Like the bad guy in Roadhouse, like he's driving down the street the wrong way, like, oh, la, la.
And when the gun shows up, it's so unexpected.
Yeah.
That's what makes that work.
They just pulls out this machine gun. It's like, ah.
And like Will Smith in this scene doesn't even hit a deer.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That just doesn't feel like this character went hunting with the intention of not catching something.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And none of that, but like you never see him hunt again.
No. In this scene, which is kind of a badass scene, but like it's hurt by what follows it. And the CGI here is really tough again with the lion and the deer. And like this universe that they're trying to build is actually cool looking, but the CGI is so bad.
And also, was it just me, or did you expect like maybe other wild animals to come into play later in the movie?
Yeah, I thought that was.
I thought like maybe, I don't know, like there was a fucking elephant, or like and do a Deus Ex Machina of like the lion attacks like one of those monsters.
Yeah.
And like, which would have been, by the way, hilarious to watch a lion just destroy one of those zombies.
Yeah, so like following you, you're right. A movie with the budget like this.
Yeah.
If you introduce the fact that dogs are vampires,
Yeah.
you would spend some of that budget and make a vampire or something else.
Something
I
else.
agree.
Yeah, like a bear.
I agree.
Like a vampire,
how
or a
fucked would that be?
zombie bear. That'd be so awesome.
But I think they write themselves in the corner because they don't want anything to be scarier than this like tribe of
Yeah.
mutants.
Okay, then make that and like have the lion come and then them kill the lion.
Sure.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yep. There's not enough examples of the mutants
Yeah.
in I Am Legend.
Yeah. Also, they do it too, like with the mutants in the Omega Man. What? And I don't think it does in the book. I don't remember it. They just say that they're vampires, but they never. How do they eat? What are they eating? What's happening?
Yeah.
Like what's going on?
Like in the book, they're so obsessed with blood. I guess that's their like.
But from
food
where?
source. Well, when they can't eat, sometimes they like basically cannibalize themselves. So like,
do they? I don't remember.
Yeah,
It's been a long time since I read the book.
like there's a part where he says that he knows when he survives that they're weaker, like they're because they didn't eat that night because they didn't get him. But then he was like, but sometimes when that happens, they'll like eat one of the weaker ones themselves.
Yeah.
So the science, like you mentioned, is not explained well in the book. Which I give I Am Legend credit that they're trying to do that, but it's kind of inconsequential.
Yeah. It is. I mean, you could, for all you know, they live off rats. It doesn't
Totally.
matter. So.
Well, getting into the zombies, since we're there now, I guess we'll bring up the lead zombie in both films. In the 71 film, Anthony Zerbe plays Matthias, who's a character in the fucking half.
But his gadgets, his cars, his guns, gimmicks. And yet the whole family can't bring him down out of that
Hunky paradise, brother.
forget the old ways, brother. All the old hatreds, all the old pain.
And in I Am Legend, Dash Mihok is the alpha male
Yeah.
zombie, vampire,
Whatever, yeah.
whatever.
Let me save you!
Matthias is one cool dude, bro.
See, he's more of like a religious figure than he is like a monster. Like his whole thing. Like, he's got a point.
He doesn't.
You know, like
that.
He's like, this war destroyed us as a species. I remember it. Like he has a memory of it. He remembers everything fondly. That ain't what it is anymore.
Right.
It's this. Like the old Albert Einstein saying, like World War III will be fought with nuclear weapons, and World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah. And
that's basically what he's at. Matthias is at. And so like the white-faced black guy,
sure,
that he says that. Like, oh, we could go and get cannons, and we'll kill this motherfucker. And he's like, we'll kill that honky bitch, or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, no, we're not doing that. Like, we don't use guns anymore. Like, we're done with that. So his whole thing is like, almost in the same vein of Planet of the Apes.
It is a lot like that.
Like that, we know what they did. Like, we're one, like, he's the other. Like, fuck that guy. We're gonna kill him, we're gonna get him out.
Yeah, Matthias is constantly reinforcing this like belief system, and when people start to stray, they recognize that like Matthias has this like logical consistency.
Yeah.
Which is, would it be a lot easier for me to just shoot this guy, make a cannon, and like he knows how to.
Yes, he knows exactly how to.
But he's like, that's what got us here.
Exactly.
We're never going to do that again.
Never again.
And you're right. It lends Matthias credibility in some ways because Charlton Heston is so nuts.
He's so nuts, like just killing everyone willy-nilly.
Like in some ways, Matthias has points, at least for his version of humanity.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but that's what's left now.
Mm-hmm. That is the prevailing species.
Yeah,
Charlton Heston's a relic.
Yeah, he's the relic, and it's like, and also so Charlton Heston cures the kid who looks like a miniature version of the guy from Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
That guy. And it's like literally a squashed down version of him. And he cures the kid, and the kid immediately goes to Matthias and is like, hey, this guy could cure us. And he's like, why? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, he's the problem. We're not the problem.
Right.
And he's got a point, like, why would I need to be cured? Like, I'm fine. Like, my life is cool. Like, and his whole thing, it's like, yeah, they're monsters, but they're not really. Like, it's more like a cult.
It is like a cult. There's not a lot of indication, really, that they're like a violent cult outside of this antagonism with this person who's trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say their morality, but in a lot of ways, they, like you mentioned, they seem to be the more credible party here.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
exactly.
We're just doing our thing, you know?
Yeah.
And you're trying to kill us.
To kill us constantly.
Every day.
Every day, for no reason.
A bummer.
And you keep calling him, like, you're evil. Like, you're an evil person. And he's like, yeah, you kind of are, man.
He is. And Matthias is trying to protect his people. So when, like, Richie, who's played by, what's this guy's name? Doesn't really fucking matter. Who's played by Eric Lonneville. That's what that guy looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But,
that kid's a fucking idiot, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Richie's a moron.
He's a fucking idiot. He gets cured from this disease that almost killed him and turned him. He was just about turned. And then Charlton Heston pumps his own blood into this kid, saves him. Saves his life. And then, because he realizes that he must be immune, that's the only reason he doesn't have... The only difference between mutants and Charlton Heston is basically sunlight. That's really the only difference.
That's it.
And whiteface.
Right.
Yeah. And even the white people are wearing whiteface. And they're all their hair turns for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's really the only difference.
That's it.
That's it. And then so he pumps the blood into the kid, and the kid immediately goes to Matthias, hey, we gotta do this. He's like, why the fuck would I do that? And kills the kid. And that's to get Charlton Heston out of his ivory honky tower.
Right. But, like, even that murder because he assumed that Charlton Heston sent the kid to trick them.
But
And he was like, all right, you're clearly here to fuck with us. We're going to get rid of you. And it's not great, I guess, that he kills Richie, but, like, it's, again, a logical decision.
yeah, he's a spy. And by the way, he's also not one of them anymore.
He's not one of them. And that part, I will say the Richie story, I thought was poorly executed.
Yeah, stupid.
Like, Charlton Heston being like, we need to kill them. And I guess Richie basically being the voice in the other direction of saying that, like, cure them. Right? But Richie's plan to cure them could never possibly work.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that he would just go there
Yeah.
and do that at that moment was really weak. And even though it moves the story forward,
He's like, granted, he's a kid, but he's like a 14-year-old
Yeah.
kid. Like, he's not like a 8-year-old.
but like he almost destroyed humanity
Yeah.
for no reason.
But that's the problem with them being so sentient. In this, like,
Yeah.
you want to cure these things, but they'd have to want it. It's the same thing with, like, the vax or whatever.
Right.
It's like, you
Right.
have to want to take the fucking thing. You can't just inject them. Will Smith can just inject them.
Right. I like that opens up different ethics, right? Of someone who's never experienced being a Matthias mutant,
Yeah.
assuming
That he wants to.
right,
Which is exactly what happens with Will Smith.
Right.
Because they can't communicate.
right,
Like, Matthias could be like, fuck you. I don't
Right.
want your shit.
Right.
And he could vocalize that, and he could be like, all right, fucking, I'll go. But then you just do whatever you do. I'm going to do what I do.
Right.
I won't kill you. You don't break into my fucking house anymore, and we won't have any problems.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
But they don't do that, obviously, because then there's no movie. But then, like, Will Smith, it's like he can't communicate with them. So it's the whole thing that they set the trap for him. Like, we'll go back to that. It's because they learned it from him.
Right.
Like, they are, which shows you right there immediately that you think that they're mindless zombies running around killing people.
Right.
But that they actually have thoughts in their head.
But what makes that work and is sort of effective is that's because that's what Will Smith is telling us.
Uh-huh. Like, you don't see what the zombies are doing on a daily
Right.
basis. You see what they do in the Omega Man.
Right.
They're like, easy, brother.
Easy.
Easy, brother.
Time will do-
yeah.
yeah.
Like, we'll do it. But the zombies, you don't see them do anything without Will Smith being there.
That's true.
So you see it all from his perspective. And then all of a sudden, because he's doing that, they learn, they adapt
Right.
to him.
Sure.
So, because, like, the other one, yeah, he's like the alpha man, he's the leader of them, but he's the complete opposite of Will Smith.
Yes.
So he's like the villain, which it's like they have him, he's right there, they
Somehow.
could do it.
And they don't.
And they don't make it like that, like, which is, so makes me so mad.
When we get to the ending, there's
Yes.
an alternate ending.
I
that,
know.
Like, supposed but even that felt like that doesn't really make it work.
It does, though.
More.
We can talk about it now, if you want, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it's not the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Did I have something else about the zombies? The Will Smith thing? I can't remember. No.
But the fact that they aren't, you don't realize that they're sentient.
Yeah.
That makes
Right.
it 1,000 times better.
It is.
Because that's the surprise.
Yeah. So, when Will Smith sees the alpha zombie
Yes.
step into the light,
Yeah.
his interpretation is, oh, they're devolving.
Yeah.
Because his reaction wasn't to further his own life. Like, what he did could have killed him. So Will
Yeah.
Smith's like, they're not even using basic survival instincts anymore.
Yeah.
So when Will Smith sees that, he's not saying, like, it's the equivalent of him early in the film when his wife is getting scanned. You're
Yeah.
not going to let her in. Like, that reaction is the same reaction, but he's seeing it as,
Exactly.
like, not human.
Exactly.
You know, it's a cool narrative device, and I guess you're right with the ending that would work.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the ending. Listen, the ending of the book is basically that he realizes he's the new Dracula.
Right.
This is the new world of what
Right.
they're setting up.
Because if you flip it,
if you look at it through these zombies' perspective, he's a fucking monster.
Right.
That kidnaps them against their will, tests on them, kills them, and then goes and gets more.
Yeah.
He drains their blood, and then he's a fucking monster. And basically he realizes that.
Right.
And he's like, oh, and these sentient beings that he doesn't realize are like the new humans. Mm-hmm. He doesn't realize what he is to them until that. And Charlton Heston doesn't give a shit that he's that at all. They tell him you're a monster, you're a fucking a demon, you're a plague on this, and he's like, go fuck yourself.
Right.
And then they kill him.
Pure spite and hatred of them.
Yeah, and then Will Smith at the end of the movie is to save humanity, draws out his own blood. He realizes he could save through his blood and the immunities in it. Can change these things back.
Sure.
Gives it to the girl, the girl and the kid.
Right.
And shoves them in a coal chute in his lab while the zombies are breaking in. And he takes a grenade and says, "Fuck you," and blows everyone up in the most unnecessary killing of all time. That he's like, "Oh, I gotta kill myself." You could also just get in the chute too and throw the grenade, you fucking idiot.
No,
it's so unnecessary. It's like, oh, I'm sacrificing. You're a fucking moron.
They try to explain the line like, they'll never stop. It's like, so what?
Yes, they will. They did. They did immediately.
Yeah.
You killed all of them with a grenade. Mm-hmm. You don't need to die at all.
Right.
Like, it was like that scene, I don't know if you ever watched Lost.
Really?
When Charlie dies in Lost, spoiler alert, when the thing starts moving in and he locks the door and he's like, oh, that's so heroic. Or you could have just fucking closed the door behind you and locked it, and then you're like, hey, that's not Penny's boat.
Right.
That would have been the same result. But no, I gotta sacrifice myself. Fucking why?
Right.
And then, but the alternate ending to it is that he realizes that the alpha male zombie he makes the shape on the dirty glass of a butterfly. And he points to the girl and realizes that the girl has a butterfly tattoo on her. And butterflies are prevalent through this entire movie, by the way. Because I'm going to guess, changes. They go through a caterpillar into a butterfly. Oh. And then they go, and then Will Smith lets her go. She goes back to him.
Right.
And he realizes that they actually care about each other.
Right.
The same way he cared about his wife and his daughter, and then looks at all of the fucking the pictures of the people that he experimented on, and realizes, oh no, I'm a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Which is 1,000 times better.
Much better.
Because then he realizes that he is that Dracula. And then he leaves with them because they back off. He's like, I'm sorry. You won't have any more problems for me.
But the title.
The title refers to that. What the fuck does the title refer to in the other one? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he was the guy that blew himself up.
He blew himself up? What legend? What are you talking about?
He gave him the cure.
That doesn't make any sense. The Legend of the Cure? Go fuck yourself. That's so stupid. What is it? I am Legend. Legend of what? I am the Legend of Dracula. Makes sense. I am the Legend of Frankenstein. Yes. I am the Legend of fucking blood? Go fuck yourself. That's so stupid. Why would you change the ending to that? That's the best part of that movie is the fucking ending. It's so close to being good, and it fucking stinks. It kicks itself in the balls because I got Will Smith. I gotta die. I'm such an amazing human. Go fuck yourself. This movie kicks you right in the nuts at the end. Oh, for no reason. It's such shit. Like, why? Why? Just throw it. Get in the fucking chute. You fucking dipshit.
But it was bad the whole time.
It was, but that really emphasized. If it turned out that you realize Will Smith is the biggest piece of shit ever, you're like, oh, that's so much more interesting.
I think that it's insane that somehow the Omega Man with, let's see, the Lisa story. So Rosalind Cash plays Lisa.
And step on it.
Right.
Yes.
Who's basically discount Jackie Brown.
Yes.
And I guess in I Am Legend you've got Alice Braga who plays Anna. She also has a son named Ethan who's played by Charlie Tatum. Like, Anna is somehow even more random than Lisa.
Yes.
And Lisa is random.
Very random. She can still get it, though.
Oh, yeah. She could get it. Tasteful Shadow in that film.
Oh, yes.
I just did not understand.
Okay, I just want to before we get any further that they have a romantic thing going on in the movie that they hook up.
Right, which movie are you talking about?
In Omega Man. Charlton Heston and Lisa hook up. How much extra money did Charlton Heston, do you think, over under demanded because he had to kiss a black woman?
Ooh. $25K.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. $25K. Then he was like, "Oh, you're casting a colored girl? I mean, I need a little more money to kiss this one because it wasn't discussed because they're about to kiss and then the lights go out. So it was like, okay, well, we haven't settled this debate yet. Mm-hmm. They were clearly supposed to kiss and then the lights went out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh no, I forgot the generators."
Right.
And so it was like there's discussions for another day. And then they finally do hook up.
Right.
When they ponied up the money.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
So I remember seeing that scene, I was like, wait.
Charlton Heston's not kissing the black woman.
Yeah.
He'd fucking rip off his own lips first.
I don't disagree.
And hers.
I don't That's the goddamn Planet of the Apes, bro.
Seriously.
Oh, man.
You're so damn ugly. You're so damn black.
I agree. I think $25K at least.
But yes, I think so. But okay, so they hook up, and they do the worst cliche that they do in movies when she's like, which for a second I thought they were gonna pull the trigger on literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. When he comes up and she's sitting there looking at she's sitting there looking at the elevator, which is his door because he doesn't have a door to his apartment. It's just the elevator.
Right.
And the elevator door opens up and she has a machine gun ready to blow him away. And she like waits, and then it's him. If she shot him in that minute, I was like,
"Yeah,
this movie's amazing." But it isn't. And then the guy, the white-faced black dude, comes in through the window with a gun, which doesn't play into at all.
Right.
And they do the cliche that I hate, and she's like, "Why are you looking at me like that? What are you doing?" He's like, tell her to duck! Right. Get out of the way, you fucking idiot! Because if I were her and I saw him standing like that, I would shoot him. Like, why would you not kill him? He's clearly going to shoot someone.
Of course you would.
He's taking aim at you. Get out of the way! Like, Lisa, move!
That part.
I'm going to kill this white-faced Negro.
And I gladly do it.
Yeah, I gladly do it.
I'll give you that $25K back too.
Yeah, exactly. They really killed him. He actually shot him. Then he fell off the balcony, hit the balcony, and actually, that was not a stunt man. That was really him. And then he fell through the gates and impaled himself like the Glimmer Man. Like the end of the Glimmer.
Wow. Wow. That part of the film was so clunky.
It was so clunky. The whole thing was...
Lisa to the people in the woods and...
Yes.
And Richie's sick and
Richie's sick and Richie's okay. Then Richie goes to see them. And then they're walking down the street to go get him. Yeah. But then she immediately just turns into one of them.
Yeah.
I had to I was not gonna lie to you. By this time I was like, all right, I'm kind of like.
The movie was basically over.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of got it. I was kind of looking at my phone, and then she was one of them, and I was like, what the fuck did I miss? I had to go back. I was like, did I miss something? I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't miss anything. I did miss Richie's death for a second. I was like, did they kill him?
Yeah.
And then I saw it, and then I was like, I did miss it. Then I rewound it. I was like, oh, they just show his dead head with blood coming out of his mouth, so he's clearly dead.
Well, Richie's death kind of, and it doesn't really work, but
no, because he was already out.
Right, he was out, but I mean, Richie's death is supposed to be this sort of moral, ethical thing, right? Because Richie's like, should we kill them or cure them? That's a real question in the film. Richie's like, we should cure them. He immediately gets killed by them, which then justifies Charlton Heston
Craziness.
exactly going
Yeah.
out to go nuts.
So he's right the whole time that
right,
he cares.
but he's not.
He's not, but he totally is.
Yeah.
In this sense of this movie, if this was real life, no, he's not.
No. If we were doing like a philosophy,
This is literally like if you showed up at the Amish and like the Amish were like, "Could you get the fuck out of here?" And you're like, "No, I live here." And then they kept like knocking on your door, asking to leave, and then you shot a bunch of them. And then every chance you got, you shot them in Lancaster, PA. Like you just shot a bunch
I
of
have
them.
to figure out why they.
Listen, English, get out of here. I'll give you all the kettle corn you can imagine. You can have our sister.
Yeah.
But
I hate, like, I don't like the Richie storyline because the movie in either way is done right. Like, he's hooking up with Lisa. You know, they're gonna go somewhere and like use his blood, start a new population. Whether he's there or not, it's the same result. It's like you could end the movie there, or you could do this convoluted Richie. We got to shoot everything.
yeah, but also like it's. They try and do it like it's a moral thing, but it's not. Like he's doing it. He kills him just to get him out of the apartment.
Right.
That's the only thing. The only reason why he does it.
Correct.
But the thing is, he was already out. Like you didn't have to. Like he's doing like, oh yeah, I think we're gonna get him out tonight.
Yeah. I don't get why they sat on the scene where like the little girl asks. Mega Man basically like, are the vampires going to come at night and get us?
Yeah.
That would have been better than Richie trying to parlay some sort of peace negotiation.
Yeah, exactly.
If the zombies got wind that they were trying to escape to make the cure and attack them first, that would have been better than what they did.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes 1,000 times more sense.
It's just a better premise where like Matthias, if you still want to keep him in that morality where he is a religious fanatic, he sees them trying to, keep this flawed man that he perceives.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep that species going. That's enough to get Matthias to go harm them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The Richie would be like, hey, Mr. White Guy, I left to go talk to
Mr. Drummond. I'm in.
Like, it was bad.
Willis and I.
We doing good and shit.
We doing good and shit.
I just didn't like the way Richie moved this film into its inevitable end.
Yeah, it was clunky. It was really stupid.
Bad.
And then the fact that she was one of them, like coming after him, like she was brainwashed. And then when he's like, Lisa, let's get out of here. And then from the balcony, he fucking all of a sudden is Achilles with the fucking Achilles in Troy. Like, yeah, it throws the spear that the white face, the opposite of the jazz singer was. Like he fucking
The jazz. That's great.
The Mraz singer, and he throws
Jason
the spear.
Mraz.
Jason Mraz, exactly. That's what it's called.
Hell yeah.
He throws the spear right in Charlton Heston's chest.
Yeah.
And great throw. And then he gets locks his arm that he holds for how many hours before Dutch and the rest of them find him in their caravan while they're leaving. They find him. He's still holding up. And he's like, here's the blood. And he's like shaking while he's getting the guy's like, oh no, don't drop it. And then he dies. And then Lisa's over there. And then Lisa's like just laying in the sunlight.
In the sun.
Completely unaffected. They pick her up. She's like, oh no.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, where are the rules here?
It was a terrible ending.
Terrible ending. Although I am glad Matthias gets away. He doesn't get killed at all.
That's a great point.
Doesn't.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's Gucci.
He's Gucci. He's fine. He continues living on, and now that white devil is dead.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. You know.
Mission accomplished. But then Lisa, and who cares? Like she'll be cured, I guess. That's what it is. And then from her blood, they'll make more. That they'll all be cured.
I will say this: that ending is more in line with the anti-science of the novel.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you're just infusing blood of any sort.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Anybody.
A, B, O,
It doesn't matter.
A,
Shut up, Reggie.
tomato.
Give me your science.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Yeah.
But then the Will Smith, it just makes me so mad.
The Will Smith The problem, and I was kind of like clocking the time. I think the movie's about an hour 40.
Yeah.
He meets the woman at about the hour mark.
Yeah.
When he meets Anna. Most of that is watching Shrek.
Yeah.
You know, and like goofy shit like that. Then about 20 minutes of the movie left is when the zombies basically attack.
Yeah. Where he decides right then, I shot the sheriff.
Yeah.
But he didn't shoot the deputy.
That's right. That's right. And that's the problem. Like, the only discernible action really is that last
thing.
scene.
And, it's so piss poor.
With the grenade.
It's so unnecessary.
He wouldn't even kill, like, 5 of them.
Yeah, not 5. And then, and by the way, and they would not be safe. They'd be dead.
Turn the lights on.
Turn the lights on. Yeah, turn the lights on. Turn the fucking lights on.
Turn the fucking lights on.
Yeah, turn the fucking lights on.
Open a window, bro.
and all these signs, like, did you not just have, like, a lot? You have all the time in the world to set up all the UV lights you want.
I know.
Like, just do that.
Just turn the lights
Just
on.
turn those on around your house at all times.
Yep. You're going to lose some people, but the people that are immune, they'll be left, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It was...
You would, I mean, it'd be terrible for humanity in general, but like, I think you would even, like, consider shooting some sort of flare that just simulates UV light the whole time. It's like, this is just what we're doing.
This is it now.
This is it.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, it's a mess.
It is a mess. It's a complete mess. And then, and they do, like, different things, like you can see he uses UV light to, like, disinfect, like, his plates and stuff, which is, like, his metaphor.
Sure.
But it's like, it's like some of that bullshit that's like, that's, okay.
Yeah.
Do you not watch them? Okay, disinfect them, but then, that's not a metaphor for what you're doing.
Right.
Like, this is not a plate.
Right.
Like, you're not going to eat the zombies.
No, you're not going to eat the zombies. I'm just really confused by everything that, like, Anna brings into the movie, and they spend no time discussing it.
No.
Right? Like,
Oh, there's a group of people up there. No, there's not. Fucking maybe there is. What else are you doing? You might as well go.
if he was trying to communicate with this group of people and he just couldn't, and that was like part of the movie, then I would accept it. But I don't know what you're talking about. The colony of people, is it real or isn't? Like, which one is it? And for them to be having a debate about a thing I don't know about is silly. You know, it's like, oh man, what about that lunar colony? Yeah, I don't know about that lunar colony. It's like, what?
Why?
Where did that come from?
But like, why not just take the chance?
Right.
Like,
right. What does it hurt him to do that?
Yeah, nothing at all.
This idea that this is ground zero, so I have to solve it here. That makes no sense. In fact, I would argue that you probably want to look at some mutations before you go to.
Stop it. Stop it with your nonsense. That's ridiculous. Why would he do that? Why would he see if like other people are alive and maybe study their blood and why their immunities work and maybe some people are kind of infected and maybe they're not. And maybe, I don't know. No, they wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous.
The problem with the remake is that he has a capability.
Yeah. He has all the background in the world, and not that, but you believe his capability, other than the fact that he's ripped beyond belief.
Yes, that for sure, but the lab, the fact that he has this functional lab, all this research,
everything you could possibly imagine.
You know, I know that he has the capability to figure certain things out. When Heston kind of shirks that responsibility, I can understand it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's equipped for this.
Also, like, Charlton Heston sums it up right there. Like, he drains his blood, and before he drains, like, a 2-liter soda bottle full of blood.
Yeah.
And, which, you are asleep at that point.
Yeah.
You are not getting it. You are not doing that. And then he puts the cotton on his arm, covers it up, gets the line out, and immediately starts drinking scotch.
Yeah.
Like, might be the worst thing in the world for you.
Pretty bad idea.
Yeah, it's you. Like alcohol. Oh, in the beginning, when it shows the people in the news report of the people dying or becoming zombies, is so funny. Like Happens in a matter of seconds. I was waiting for the news anchor to just. Oh,
When Charlton Heston has to fly the helicopter.
oh yeah.
Vaccine.
Vaccine.
So wait. So you understand the concept of a vaccine,
But
you just
you don't care.
you know.
Okay.
I wonder when he quit. Right, like that's the part of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it like day 4? He was like,
He's picking up the beakers and he's like, I don't even watch this shit.
my UV light.
It's my UV light. I think we got all these guns though. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
You know, and there was another scene that when the zombies are coming into his house and they're breaking everything up. I would have thought it would have been so good if you just had like sliced in the scene from Animal House. They took the bar, the whole fucking bar.
Wow.
I thought as soon as they smashed up, I was like, that was my fucking liquor. Everything else I could I need that.
So funny.
Spoken like a true drunk.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's more like the source material. The guy drank a lot.
Oh, in the source material, yeah, he's drunk for quite a bit of it. And then he befriends a dog, like a stray dog.
Yeah, but that was almost like part of the sciencing there.
Yeah.
Because the stray dog becomes like a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being a monster. But because it does, like, that was his only connection, really.
Right.
And that kind of that's like his catalyst to learn more about it.
Yeah.
So he studies, he learns science real quick over, and then becomes like, oh, this must be a disease. This is like a bacteria.
Now, Will Smith makes a point about Sam the dog, where he says that the dog is immune to airborne virus, but susceptible to contact virus.
Yes.
Are the deer susceptible?
That's what I'm saying. They present it,
Right.
but they don't, you know?
Because you would think the zombies would feast. There's so many deer. It's
Yeah.
so abundant. You would think maybe they'd feast on that.
Yeah, that's what would have been so interesting. Like if they're sitting there, like if there was one scene where he was out doing whatever, he had to get something. Let's say he was getting food. He has to get food eventually. Like, so he's out harvesting food, looking for food, gas, whatever, and something he needs. And a bunch of them, like, he has to go in somewhere. It looks like it's going to be dangerous. He's like, fuck, let's go in. And it turns out there's a horde of zombies in there, and he's outmatched. He knows he's in trouble.
Sure.
And then a fucking lion comes and rips them apart.
Yeah.
That would have been really... And then they overtake the lion.
Right.
That would have been so interesting.
That would have been
Or like a deer. They're eating a deer.
That would have been
And
very
like,
cool.
you're like, oh, okay. But like Charlton has a... Damn, they almost got me today. Like, that's it.
Ooh, caught me slipping.
Caught me slipping. Yeah, one almost killed me. Ah! That was so funny. Oh, I encourage everyone at home to watch the Omega Man because it's really silly. It's really funny. It's trying to be prolific, but it's not really, and it's so funny. But they do a much more better job of the foreshadowing and they really hit you over the head with that he's a monster.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty clear that he is, and they're like the townsfolk.
Right.
But they literally have pitchforks and torches coming to kill him.
That's true. All the imagery is so overdone. Like even when Charlton Heston's character dies, he dies like
Yes.
Jesus.
Still holding onto the fucking.
It,
They put his
That's
hat
actually-
on the fountain.
yeah, like the freeze frame ending. They kind of like hit
Yeah.
that red filter, and that shit is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But I don't know. The Christian cult imagery, I think it works because it just gives you something to latch onto.
Yeah.
Because without that, I don't know what this movie is about.
This one's the difference in these two movies is the Omega Man is the last man.
Right.
The Omega meaning the son of God. You know that
Sure.
humans are the son of God. So he's the one redeeming humanity
Right.
from these heathenist beings that are now roaming the earth. Whereas I Am Legend is much more like AIDS. Like, much more AIDS. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people with AIDS are people too. Yeah, we figured that out a while ago. Like, we know.
Does that make Dutch the alpha man?
Yes, he would be.
Interesting.
I think he's more like the D-man. And I played at a club, Dutch's last night, and then I watched this movie this morning. So I was like, hey, Dutch. And then I smoked a Dutch while watching.
Nice.
I did not.
Paul Kozlo played Dutch. He's IMDb pictures of him in a fedora. So,
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It should be. And then he was also a medical student. See, but he was also the student.
It's
He learned from him.
Right.
Like he read everything he published. So he's like the St. Peter.
I think it's so interesting that a movie that poorly uses its additional characters somehow did a better job.
Although I thought Dutch was great. We were discussing this outside.
Yeah.
That we were like, I would watch a movie about Dutch in a heartbeat.
Oh, all day.
Like, because this motherfucker knows shit. He's smart. He's capable. He bails him out of the arena.
He's the daywalker.
He's the daywalker. Yeah, he's kind of a zombie. Like he was one of them, and they would help them like burn the bodies and stuff. They just didn't buy into the religion. They were like, "Fuck this, we're not doing this."
Yeah, I think they were saying like once the task of like burning the bodies was over, they went back to being like, "Hey, wait a minute, you ain't like us." And like prejudice came in.
Yeah, prejudice came in,
which is very interesting. It was a cool dynamic to kind of explore, even though they don't.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
they don't. They just touch on it. And they're like, oh, that was it. And then they leave. But he knows how to do the lights in the arena and all that shit.
Sure.
He's keeping he's a medical student. Like, so he knows. And he says all his work to him, like, oh, you know all that, huh? Like, you know, Trump and Heston should have said those lines, and he was like, I'm not memorizing that. Like, yeah. You want me to kiss a black woman and do all this nerd lingo? Come on, I'm Charlton Heston, for God's sake. But it's clearly supposed to be like an allegory for Christ.
Right.
I Am Legend, it's much more an allegory for AIDS. Like, these people care. We have to care about AIDS patients. It's like, yeah, we fucking know. That movie came out in 2007. It's like, yeah, man. Like, we're all, like, we've been doing the AIDS walk.
Yeah, because they whiffed on the ending. They, like, pulled back.
Completely.
The message doesn't stand. So, Omega Man has over-the-top, like, savior imagery.
Yes.
But they actually have savior imagery, right?
Yeah, but this is not white savior. It's honky savior.
Sure,
so
it's a honky savior.
I love fucking the word honky. It's so good. It's so funny. Black people, bring that back.
Very specific.
Fuck a cracker. Honky.
Honkies. The I Am Legend imagery doesn't.
The title.
Match.
The title.
Doesn't match.
I Am Legend. Like, what?
There's nothing legendary about
Nothing legendary about him.
Right.
Like, what? Legendary of senselessly killing yourself, you fucking idiot?
You're right. If she had gone to some colony where there were survivors who had been doing just fine by themselves.
Yes.
It was like, here's the cure. It's like, oh, that's really cool.
And then they drive off into the sunset. I like that they...
Like, she is legend at that point.
Yeah, she's legend.
Right?
He's like... He was a stepping stone for
Yeah,
them.
it was like, oh yeah, this guy couldn't quite get here because
he fucking killed himself. But he got his blood.
Yeah.
He was immune to everything. I mean, so am I. You can take my blood. But... I got his.
Yeah.
He was a doctor. Wouldn't he have more information that we could use? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more information. But we
to
got
say
his blood.
Be able to say
Do you know anything about medical science? No. But I drove the car here with the guy who knew everything's blood.
It's like a toxic.
How'd he die? He took a grenade and jumped into a bunch of zombies for us. Why? I don't know. He was in a cold shoot. He was a pretty nice guy. He got pretty pissed at us for eating his bacon, though.
Yeah.
Had a dog, I think.
Oh, man. Here's the other thing they don't talk about. He got to eat bacon before he died.
Yes, he did.
Luckily, he got to have the meal he was saving.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
Didn't even get to enjoy it.
Didn't even get to enjoy it.
Yeah, but...
That fucking monster. And in the book, it drives it home a lot more. That he gets... there. So he basically has a Lisa.
Right.
In the book. And he meets her, and he's like, oh, and he sleeps with her, and he has like a relationship with her. And then she leaves him a note like, listen, I'm a vampire, and I was sent here as a spy, and I couldn't do it to you. I'm sorry, I gotta go. And he's like, oh shit, she was a vampire? And then they end up capturing him and basically saying, you're a monster for killing us all and doing all these things. And she comes in, and they schedule him for an execution. And he's like, oh shit. And she comes in with a suicide pill and says, like, you don't need to suffer. Take this suicide pill. You'll die quick. And he's like, he takes the pill, and while he's waiting for it to take effect, he's like laughing to himself, thinking, holy shit, like, I'm their Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, oh, they tell kids about me, about haunting their lives and everything forever. Oh, that's amazing. And then the book kind of ends with him about to die. Like, he knows he's going to die, and that's it.
It's badass.
Yeah, and it's much more badass and much more driven home. He's like, oh, that's funny. So he's like, I think the last words are, I am legend. And this...
That fucking makes sense.
That makes so much more sense. It's like, oh, that sounds so good.
Wish I got to see that.
Yeah, I wish I got to see that ending. Like, oh, these sentient beings that could do... The only thing that I think it does really well, because as like a shock value, that they can't talk.
Right.
Like, and the fact that they can't talk, they must not have a brain, but they clearly do.
Right.
And that makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's all leading to the fact that, again, they blink and fuck it up.
Yeah. 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 Even, like, some of the animation we were talking about.
Oh, terrible. The fucking CGI in this movie stinks.
Apparently it started with people in costume.
Yes. But The Walking Dead wasn't that long after this.
No. None of this shit was that long after it. 28 Days Later was like...
28 Days Later looked 1,000 times better. Why couldn't you
half
just...
the budget.
Just, yeah, fucking hire that guy.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they didn't like the direction it was going, and then they just...
Yeah, they said it looked like mimes or something like that.
Yeah, but so what?
So what?
Because the CGI is so bad. Like, they didn't...
It's awful. The CGI looks so cartoonish
Yeah.
and so, like, outdated. I'm like, I can't stand it. I'm very aware that I'm watching CGI.
It's not good.
Like, it's terrible. It's really terrible.
So I guess, we get into the endings and stuff like that. Do you think that the remake should exist?
The remake should exist.
Okay.
But they should... It needs to be better. It should exist, but this one shouldn't.
Okay.
This one shouldn't.
Alright.
A remake should exist, but this one is not it.
Yeah.
Like, this movie could be great. Like, it could be like a long Twilight Zone-ish ending.
Sure.
And it's not it. They missed the landing completely.
Yeah. Yeah, and part of it is, it's a takeoff, too. Everything is a bumpy ride. Like, there's a lot of turbulence throughout, and then the end is just like, fuck it.
Sacrifice! Yeah. It's almost like they tried to make it like a Christ tale at the end. But
Right.
they had no intention of making it that.
Right. That's why when they introduce Anna's religion, it felt so unnecessary.
Yeah. Just, the whole thing is, it's so, like, everything is so shoehorned in the movie.
Right.
Like,
The
again, Bob
Marley
Marley.
shoehorned in.
So, it's so shoehorned.
Even the family shoehorned in. Like, they don't do enough with it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just all these elements that could work. I think the movie is strongest in that first half when you don't know what's going on. When the dog goes into that dark area.
Yeah.
That's like the last time the movie was good.
Yeah, it was good. And you see them, like, huddling around.
Yeah. If you kept it dark and you couldn't really reveal, I think that would have worked really well.
Yeah.
But seeing them didn't work. The scene with the dogs, like the concept was cool that they wouldn't chase him down until the sun was down. But
Yeah.
it still didn't look good.
It still didn't. No, it did not look good.
They had a lot of CGI problems.
It made me want to get up, stand ups,
Yeah.
and leave the theater. Get up, stand up. But yeah, I think it completely missed the mark. Like I said, I think that this remake should exist, but this one shouldn't. A remake should exist of this movie.
I think that's really fair.
Oh, by the way, at the end when they're driving through West Caldwell, New Jersey, home of Tony Soprano, which would make a 10 times better ending. Like if she pulled into the driveway like the Sopranos at the end. Got yourself a gun!
That would have been sick.
I am legend. She's driving like Pizza Land and shit. Like, smoking a cigar.
That's so good.
Twin Towers are gone because
It's so interesting that the subject matter of the book is so thrown out for Omega Man. For both. Right?
Yeah.
But like Omega Man, like it's not
It's not really. It's he's alone, kind of with zombies.
Yeah, it's not I Am Legend.
No, it's not.
But in some ways, the way they tie in these things that actually don't fit in, like it's more like I Am Legend in some ways
Yes,
than
it
a
is.
remake.
It's like a sillier I Am Legend, but it's like, oh, that's kind of how the book was.
Yeah.
Like they should take aspects of both.
Yes.
And it could be like a great movie.
Yes. I think that, honestly, I Am Legend was lost on the cutting floor, I think. I think the way they
It
edited
has to. The best part of the book is the ending.
Yeah.
And they completely, and the ending is better than both of these movies.
Yeah. But even the ending that they had it wasn't the same, but it
was better.
Yeah, it was close enough.
Yeah,
you know?
it's much better. He realizes he's the monster.
You know?
He is Legend. He's like, I'm a fucking monster.
Yeah, so like I know that for like, certain audiences you don't want to do the suicide thing, but like they're basically gonna let him go and he's gonna realize, like you said, his humanity is gone, right? And that's pretty cool.
That redemption song would make sense.
Yeah, but maybe we don't even do any of that.
Yeah.
Maybe we leave all the Bob Marley out. I think that because the movie doesn't look good, because Will Smith's performance actually gets stepped on, and I believe this is on, both of these things are on Will Smith in my opinion. I agree, it shouldn't exist because it's not well done.
It's not.
But
it wants to be. It was well done.
If they could have just done it.
Yeah, if it was just like, no, let me just take the fucking reins here.
Yeah.
Like, instead of like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, that'd be a cool idea. But what about this, though?
Right.
Well, we could do both. No, you can't.
Right.
You can't do both.
I think I would have liked to see more interaction with the zombies.
I would like to see... No, I don't even need the more interaction with the zombies.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, but it's like, I would rather make him crazier to emphasize the loneliness. Like,
Sure.
that he... Maybe him doing, like, that kind of stuff. Like, I think they really captured... And if he, like... focused on, like, what his obsession is of, like, healing this,
Sure.
that he clearly has a hope in something.
Right.
Like, if he doesn't have a hope, what the fuck is he doing this for? Other than, like, his hope is that nothing happens to his daughter like this again. Even though it won't, she's dead. But, like, it's guilt driving him.
Yeah. I think that I do this a lot. Unfortunately, I sort of like rewrite films that are bad. If you have this kid, somehow convince him. Because, like, the kid's in this movie. But, like, why? Right?
Yeah.
What's he do?
Nothing.
If that kid, they have the same argument, like, there is no God. And somehow that kid convinces him
Then why are you doing this?
that there is a God. The kid, through some act, reminds him of his own child and reminds him why this matters. It would justify that kid being in the fucking movie. And I think
There's no reason.
You know, and I don't know what that scene looks like, but I think it should be there because this family doesn't really matter to the story.
No, it doesn't. You know what? I think a great ending to this is if the Anna and the kid don't show up at all, he realizes that he's a monster.
Yeah.
And they leave, and basically you see them, like, discussing him and this house, instead of, like, being on they're in the dark looking at this lighthouse that's all lit up, and he lives there.
Right.
And they know he's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting in there, like, even more isolated.
Yeah.
Like, and now
you
there's...
even get that, like, almost like Dracula-ish, like...
Yeah, exactly. Like the lighting, but
Yeah.
like the smoke coming in, but all you see is the light instead of the darkness.
Yeah.
Like and he's even more alone, and he's not, like, he never finds the cure.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna find the cure. Because there's no...
Right.
Because now he's like, what I've been doing is horrible.
Right.
Oh my god. Like, I can't believe I was obsessed. That's what, oh god. And now he's even more isolated because now he's not even trying.
Yeah.
Then he's like, that's like almost atoning for his sins. Like he puts it on him, and then he realizes it's on him.
I would love if in that type of sequence, right, when the zombies are looking at the house, that some kind of filter is there.
Yeah.
Like the way they see it, it looks more like ghoulish or something like that. You know, like
that they're in the dark, but to them it looks like the light in the dark.
Right. And
the light is the dark.
And like the fear that we're finally realizing as an audience that they're having. Because you can see how.
Yeah.
To us, it's like, oh, look at this nice brownstone. To them, it's basically like you said, like Frankenstein. Dracula's like, you know.
It's his castle now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's Dracula's castle, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, because like you could do something where like you distort it because they don't see well.
Yeah.
And like it could look like that, stylized. That'd be really cool.
Like it would have been great if you realized, like if you just called, this would be so much funnier for the Omega Man. Like if you realize like his name was Richard, but they just called him Richard the whole movie, and then you realize like, and he was a doctor, but then you at minute, I think the movie's like an hour 20, but at like an hour 40, I mean. Yeah. So at like an hour 35, you realize his last name's Acula, and he was Dr. Acula. Like, that's what, he just became Dracula. And that's how Dracula started. Because he's this crazy fucking guy with machine guns. Ah! It's so it would be just brilliant. It'd be so stupid. I'd love it. It'd be the best thing. It's like, wait, your last name's Acula? The Omega Man. He's like running away. He always said like has a cape with his his colonel hat. He puts on a cape.
Oh no! Wow.
Would you recommend watching these movies?
Yeah, actually. Well, no. I recommend watching Omega Man.
I recommend watching the Omega Man too.
If you got an option,
they're both on HBO Max, by the way. If you want to watch them.
Because here's what I've been doing: watch the Omega Man, listen to I Am Legend audiobook.
Oh, okay.
Because that's fire.
Yes.
And if you like want to, as like a film historian, watch the Vincent Price movie because like that's actually more entertaining to watch to me than I Am Legend is. Like I think it's actually more interesting film.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest beef with I Am Legend. It's not very interesting.
It's not very. It has all the potential in the world, and it's really a letdown. It really is a letdown. Like I said, they should remake this movie, and they should. But you can never do it again because, like, it's called I Am. If you called it I Am Legend again, they'd be like, "You're rebooting this movie."
It's gonna be hard.
You wouldn't be able to do it.
But like, it's almost like a roller coaster that you feel like you're about to hit that sick part, and it just
doesn't. And then it just breaks down.
Yeah,
it breaks down, and then you just like fall out and break your leg.
Yeah. I don't get how it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
The Omega Man is not a great movie either, but it's fun to watch.
It's so silly. It's so silly. I reckon like it's worth it just for the costumes alone. Like they're so stupid, and like again, you throw in like elements of like the random races. So, like it's just so good. I mean, like the anti-white racism, so it's really funny.
To spend so much time with.
But can you imagine how great this movie is?
Sunglasses?
Yeah, and the sunglasses like show remarks it's their eyes, but they're all wearing aviator sunglasses. Like,
so
where
funny.
did you all get these?
So
like, no one
funny.
explains it. Like, it's so stupid. You have no idea how they live.
Is there a bartering system?
Is there a bartering system? Like, what do you have? Like, there's got to be a shop somewhere. Somewhere's work. Somewhere
clubs.
Yeah, but you guys clearly don't work, so there's a class system that means, and. Like, oh, my wife makes them. What? You're married? Like, it's the whole thing. And then, it's like, can you reproduce? I don't fucking know. There's so many aspects of that movie that it's so much more fun. And then also, like, every room that they have, like, such a sensitivity to light. Yeah. But they're, like, talking to Charlton Heston when they capture him. They're in, like, the most well-lit room you've ever seen. But it's like, with, like, candles everywhere. It's like, why would you have candles? Like, you guys don't like the dark. You don't like the light. We want to make the prisoner comfortable. You're going to execute him on Giant Stadium. What do you give a shit?
It's true.
Yeah, why is he playing a home game? You're gonna fucking you're sitting there investigating him like, well.
The candle thing is so true because they use a candle to gauge Richie's perception of light. So it's like, oh my god, a candle would be torture.
Torture to you, like torture. Like it's honestly like if I don't know, you like. Oh, I really like it when it's 120 degrees all the time. Okay. Oh, well, Dan, you want to come over? The heat's on in the middle of July. But you hate me. Yeah. You fucking hate me. You're like, I fucking hate this piece of shit. He killed my mom. He killed my dad. He killed my brother. and I'm like,
It's gotta be
and I'm like, this is nice.
It's like that.
It is like I remember I was like, why do you guys have so many fucking candles? Who
Yeah.
gives a shit if he's comfortable? You're gonna kill him.
The worst thing about I Am Legend is it made money.
Oh, it made a ton of money.
It made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I think the Omega Man did too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense.
if only from the
If it's in
WPIX.
pricing, no money.
Oh, I'm sure.
$2 made.
It's for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like that's literally in the public domain in that movie.
Yeah, but I would almost argue, like, if you want to do something, it's not a retro remake thing, watch The Last Man on Earth and then Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah.
It's like they are similar looking films, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Did you guys
Night of the Living Dead's much better.
Did you guys do the Night of the Living Dead?
Not yet.
No, you haven't
So
done
we
that.
could do
So that's a good one. You did Dawn of the Dead though, right?
I don't think we did either. I'll have to
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't do
yeah.
Dawn? Okay, that's good. Just good to know in the back of our
Yeah,
head.
think about that.
So, for our next installment,
Yeah, what do you got?
I think since Halloween's coming up, it's time to do it.
It.
I don't know how we're gonna cut this pumpkin in half,
We might have to.
but this is 2 in a row that I've read the source material.
Really?
Yeah.
I might be able to do that by the next episode.
Okay.
I've been reading a lot lately.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's a really long book.
Yeah, well,
That's
probably
like
bad.
fucking.
They're gonna get to part 1.
Yeah, that's like literally like 1,700 pages.
Yeah.
It's like it's a long. It's like a Bible.
I'm never gonna read it.
Yeah, it's a long ass book. I read that years ago. I would have to read the refresher and be like, okay, I remember this now. But yeah, so it starring what is it, 1992?
Something like that.
1992 with Tim Curry and Harry Anderson, rest in peace.
Wow.
And Harry, what's his name? John Ritter, rest in peace.
Shit.
The dad from Ozark, her father in Ozark,
Yeah.
played Billy. Jonathan Brandis, rest in peace.
Wow.
And then the 2017, or I don't remember what it was, 16, 17. It with Bill Hader. Well, I remember the kid from Stranger Things. The kid who looks like a ghoul now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know. You guys know.
Yeah,
You know, it'd be like, we all float down here. We all float down here. All right, that's it for us at Retroverse Remake.
Totally.
I'm Dan Farley. You can find me on Dan Farley18 on Instagram.
I'm Reggie Parker. You can find me at RP Comedy. Check out the show on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes.
Hit that subscribe button, son.
Hell yeah.
I'll give you this Snickers.
Like, comment. Oh, we'll probably have to edit that out.
What?
No, I don't know. Product placement. DCMA, I don't know. We're going to get sued.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to eat it.
Good. Get a Snickers.
Yeah.
Nice. That was,
Yeah. That's Retroverse Remake. Thank you again. Do you want to do the exit again? Since I put the product placement in?
No.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
I was just bullshitting. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, nice.